And so that is the answer to life, the universe, and everything. I mean, I've told you for years, you just have to use that simple adage, Stuart, and you'll know how to be happy. Okay, you can click live now. I'm ready to go. Now go out of the way.
You know, I hit live earlier, so.
Oh, at what point? What did I
Uh,
hear? Did the secret go
well,
out? Oh no!
I don't want. I don't want to tell you. It's a secret.
Yeah, I know, but I told you. Okay, let us know if you heard the secret that I was telling Stuart.
And List of Jericho's like, see what I mean? Yeah, that's because we did that on purpose, List of Jericho. We saw your comment. We hit live. We always wait like till we get the stoppy spinny thing, and then we start talking. So I don't know if YouTube kicks it in a little bit
Yeah, we
late.
have no idea when. Like,
yeah, but this time we literally just.
I started. You knew I was gonna do that, didn't you? You knew.
I did. Yes.
You do. And we're just having a little chat about something anyway. So.
Yeah. And Daniel Hall, yes, I did get your email. I didn't read all of it. I read most of it because I didn't have a lot of time when I got it, and I forgot
Fridays
to go back.
aren't our days with time.
Yeah, I forgot to go back and read it. I kind of skimmed it, just like a wall of text. It's like, so I was gonna I'll do that later, and then I forgot. So I will check it out later, Dan. But
cool, no idea. So yeah, hi guys. Welcome.
Hi.
Episode
and
7.
Happy post-Thanksgiving, everybody in America.
Yes. Well, as we say in England, happy Friday after Thursday.
And we say happy Thanksgiving, but a month earlier. Anyway, and that ties in directly with the first super chat. Olivia Julius, $5. Happy start of the Christmas season. Deck the hulls with armed torpedoes. Fa la 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 la.
Well, it's Halloween first, surely. Not that there'll be a Halloween. Oh, do we just have it? Wait, we already had Halloween.
Wow. First day with the. See, we have our Thanksgiving before Halloween, so maybe that's why you got confused. But you don't even celebrate that, so I don't understand.
I've still got one more thing to do. I got to interview myself before we put the Christmas stuff. So then Christmas can happen. That'll happen the next week and a half. So.
Ooh, can I interviewing yourself? Just write down the questions you want me to, you want to ask, and I'll ask them to you, so it doesn't feel like you're interviewing yourself.
Well, that's what I'm doing. That's what someone's doing.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Anyway, welcome back, guys. We're here to talk about episode 7, Unification 3.
But not part 3. Not part 3. Just the third one.
Yes. Of season 3 of Discovery. So
post halfway now. We're now in the second half.
Yes, second half of the season. And if you guys haven't checked out our live edited review earlier, check it out. It was live when we filmed it. I'm just saying.
And it was scheduled as well. I did post it as a premiere thing to enjoy, and we had a lovely little community reading it and watching it and commenting.
I missed the premiere. I got last week's, but I didn't get to this one.
And are you guys enjoying that? I mean, it's certainly a bit of an odd thing to do, but I like the fact that you have that specialist one-on-one discussion. I like that. I think it's cool.
131 of you here, 55 likes. Awesome. We can hit 100 likes easily. I'm going to be hard on you guys this week. Usually I'm like 75. Can we do that? No, we're going to do 100 right now with 137 of you here. And this is the opportunity for Samuel to go ahead and share this video around, and I will talk about super chats and how great they are and you supporting us. So,
sounds super.
See you later, Commander. Yeah, as you saw, Olivia threw in a super chat, which is great. It does help out the channel and the community as a whole. So if you can, please do. Samuel's very tired today, so we're not going to drag this one out too long, I don't think. We started earlier because we figured people might have more to say, but we'll see how it goes. But if you want to get your voice heard, your comment read, your question answered, all that jazz, you know the routine, guys. Throw in a super chat. We have to read those out on the air. We pride ourselves in making sure we read them all. So if you can, please consider doing so. It does help the channel. You can also support the channel by heading to Teespring store or any of the other cool stuff down in the description below, or even sending us a PayPal. If you want to send us a PayPal, that's great as well. Just let us know in the regular chat that you sent it so that we can check our email and, as a result, read your comment or question via the email. So that's another way to do it as well. Also, don't forget you can join the channel at the rank of Commander, Captain, Admiral, Fleet Admiral, or Federation President. Those all really help out the channel, even if it's the smallest amount. Monthly is fine, and it really makes a big deal to us. So, or head on over to Patreon/Trekyards. It's another way to help us out on a monthly basis. So, yeah, and we'll get into all the silliness of this episode as well as all the cool stuff. I find this one's a very divisive one among people, so it'll be interesting to see kind of where you guys sit. Some people are ranking this a 9 out of 10 or higher. Other people are saying it's not the best. I know Rob Burnett went off on a bit of a tirade about it, and both Samuel and I are kind of in the middle going, I'm not sure what to think, really. So it'll be interesting to see our scores at the end, because I don't even know what I'm going to score this thing yet. So, but the discussion always helps. So if you guys can throw in anything you noticed or thought about, hey, Judge 1981 is here. Hey, Judge, how's it going? Anything you noticed or thought about this episode that we maybe miss, by all means, like I said, throw a super chat. We will read your comment, question, or whatever, and then talk about it and address it accordingly, because if you guys are supporting us, we want to be there to talk about what you guys want to talk about. So, or be here. And I hope you all had a safe, awesome Thanksgiving. I had to make myself stuffing and gravy and stuff yesterday because I saw the posts of the food and I was so super hungry for Thanksgiving food. So, yeah. Anywho, look, Samuel's back. We got 3 more super chats.
That is epic. Let's see how many people are joining us. 176. But come on, 80 likes. I want to see 100 likes before Stuart actually finishes his super chat read. So 100 likes. Click it. Love it. Go for it.
Easy. Joshua Clark, $5. Deck the halls with Romulan entrails. Fa la 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 la.
I was going to say Romulan ale and I'd be excited, and then it descended into viciousness. I'll be honest.
Really deck a hall with an ale.
You can't
like
just
stringing up.
You just throw it everywhere. You just
no, that's not decking it though. That's splashing it. Anywho.
Well, did you know on Romulus it's a tradition? You throw your ale at certain corridors in your house to signify the festive season. And then you set fire to it because it only burns away the alcohol but leaves the smell. And you like the smell if you use a special vintage specifically for the festive season, kind of like you get like a Yuletide, not rum, what's a classic Christmas old person drink? Sherry, like sherry. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, and that's the holiday season on Romulus is the only time you use the front door. As you know, I mostly use the back door at Romulus.
Oh yeah.
Anyway,
there's 3 fucking names and 2 doors and bullshit. Do you think this had 3 names though? Once they recame with Vulcan, because that's bullshit. It's such a stupid non-thing. I mean, it's interesting, but also so stupid. So I think they just stopped naming their children 3 times after a few hundred years of unification. Because Spock is, old Vulcans have 1 name, not a surname, not just 1 name. Vulcans, Romulans, all the weird names. Anyway, sorry, I stopped everything.
That's okay.
5 more likes. 5 more likes. I'll stop.
Well, you're buying time for your like counter. You just said 100 by the time I was done the super chats.
Yeah.
And we're almost at 200 people here, so it should easily hit 150 now. We're up in that, so there you go. Kit82 throws in £5. Yeah. Tilly is acting number 1. If it was me, I would get the hell off that ship. But nice to see Spock life work. 6 out of 10 for me overall. Missed opportunity. Yeah, we'll talk about that as we go. So, all those things. Chili Bina, $5.
Thank you.
So many ups, so many downs. Exo Ensign Tilly, boo. Mama Burnham in the timeline, boo. In this timeline. That's actually, we got a good video coming out about that. Thank you to Samuel. Mama Burnham chewing out Burnham in front of everyone. Yay. I was like, oh yeah, that's sweet. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Zachary Tyson, $5. There you got 106 likes. Yes. Zachary Tyson, $5. Can either of you imagine Tilly taking command in combat if Saru is incapacitated? Responsible for every life on board, deciding who lives and who dies. Yeah, I think that's going to be a thing. That's going to be one of the episodes. Something's going to happen to Saru, and she's going to have to take the chair, even though there are people more qualified on the bridge. They're going to
Everyone,
be like, yeah, they're
everyone is
going to be
more
like,
qualified.
you're number one. It's your job. I can't give you advice. You know. So
I would assume though that the show for the most part has been quite smart this year, for the first time. I would imagine that we'd probably get a situation where Saru's hurt, Tears take command, and she fails miserably, but in the best possible way. She means well, but she can't do it. But because of her action, they get into a lucky situation. Like only
Mhm.
her inexperience puts them in. You know what I mean? And
Mhm.
therefore, it's kind of like well, they need a character there. They need to give Tilly more to do. Like it's more of a they know where they're going, so they're doing it, and then she'll be out in 4 episodes or 3 episodes. Like she will not be the EXO by the end of the season. No, absolutely not.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if Nan comes back at the end of the season and is EXO
Yeah.
then. Wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah. Chris Carlin, 5 pounds.
Awesome.
Evening, guys. The constant focus on Burnham is really dragging the whole series down. Which character would you like an episode dedicated to? I'd like to see it focused on Tilly episode because I love Tilly. Bryce. I'd like to see Bryce do something. I'd like to see Reese do something.
See?
Detmer, I don't care about.
Well done, you got his name. I'm glad I forgot.
Yeah.
I'm glad you remembered it.
Yeah. Awashikam, I want her to have an episode. She's a fantastic human being, just as an actress and a person. And I think the character is very bubbly. I want to see more of her. So anybody, anyone.
No, I absolutely agree. I mean, the bridge officers. I mean, they were touted as having more this year. I think they have less this year. I'm honestly tempted to do a supercut of all of their lines in the entire franchise.
That'll take 2 minutes, not even.
No, seriously. I mean, it'll take longer to go. I pretty much guarantee that Bryce and what's that guy's name?
Reese.
Bryce and Reese.
And Bryce.
I bet they have under 10 minutes of actual dialogue-based screen time between them.
Oh yeah.
I would not hesitate. So I mean, give us the 2 guys and the 2 girls. You know, gives a full story. You know, a lower decks episode with those 2. I mean, that's
yes.
And then they get to see kind of like what Discovery was pitched as. You know, not focus on the main people, in a sense. You know, see these 2 people, why they qualified, why they here, and then around that, it's shocking they're under you. I mean, honestly, as an actor, it's not even it's a paycheck. Like I wouldn't be proud of having one line every 50 minutes, and that's only and the black guy got 2, and the other guy got none. Seriously, I mean, what's the point? Really, it's.
Well, honestly, if you look back at TOS and look at how many lines Sulu and Uhura got, really over the course of 3 seasons, not a whole lot either. There's no episodes focused specifically on their character. That became a TNG thing where you focus on the other members of the crew.
But the thing is, we all acknowledged that was wrong.
Yes.
Like I don't think anyone who's a fan of TOS would say, you know what, no lines for them. But also they weren't like they were just extensions of their post. But you kind of got a sense they were qualified. I can't tell if those 2 are qualified, apart from they're there. You know, there's even less for them.
Wing Saber. Unfortunately, if they highlight them now, I think they'll die soon after. Yes, absolutely they will.
Woo! Well, that's why I said.
Please, no episodes about my character, please. Thank you.
I saw you did Arium. I'll take no lines. I'll just give looks. It's fine. I don't want.
That'd be funny. That'd be funny. The beginning of an episode, you see the Discovery. They zoom in through the front, and then they go towards Bryce, and he's like, "No."
Yeah.
Burnham, okay.
You can't kill Burnham. Just focus on her.
Kind of stops at Saru in the captain's chair for a second, and pans over to Reese, and he's like, "No."
Then it pans over to a new character. Me? Oh, I get lines.
Ensign Ricky, and he just happens to be wearing a new red uniform or something.
Oh yeah, brand new. Yeah, he's the first one testing the new 32nd century uniforms in red. Yeah. That was brilliant.
And then it's like, then Saru barks an order to him, and he goes, "Yes, sir." Clicks his transporter thing, and he explodes instead of transports.
No. He transported, and he was inside out, and then exploded. Do that whole bit from Galaxy Quest. Wow.
Or just have him transport outside and float away.
But see, super chats generate real conversation, guys. You can tangent us into anywhere.
And have Linus on the bridge, so when you see him outside floating, you'd be like, "New badge, you understand."
See, why was he second in command? I'm sure he has way more experience. But I do want to, though, start out... I don't normally do this, but I'm intrigued because what's just a pre-live. We've got 250 people watching, which is great. Hopefully more people jump in. Put in the chat now if you like, dislike, or meh this episode. Give us a sense of what our community is. We tend to be roughly on par with our audience, but this week, like, dislike, meh. Again, use that as you will, but just one of those three so we can get a sense. Spam the chat right now. Like, dislike, meh. And we'll get, and straight after that, we'll get into our version, because I'm intrigued.
Yes. And while you're doing that, I'll read the rest of the super chats.
Please do.
Ozzy throws in $5.
Oh, thank you.
Deck the halls with Romulan ale, whiskey blue. Blah, 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 fleet, Admiral, skeleton hands. Okie dokie. That's good.
Well, at least you did it in the right song style. Ooh, interesting.
Like, meh, like.
Well, it's
like,
not really
meh.
dislikes. It's meh to like. So that's...
Yeah, well, I think a lot of things saved it for me, even like just the better writing, some good dialogues, some good exposition, some good acting. But yeah.
Well, that's the thing, though, isn't it? I mean, Burnham is a...
Well, there's a dislike.
There's... But Burnham is a tricky character because she's just too much. But when you write her better, obviously it's better scenes. Like, I'd rather watch better written Burnham than worse written Burnham.
Yeah.
And I'd rather watch Burnham say good lines while acting, because Sneak was much better this year, hands down, than action. I always refer back to season 2, episode 1, the chase scene or the flying through the asteroid belt as a waste of everything about that was a waste of VFX. It was the let's make an action scene to start the episode. Didn't need it. Waste of money, time, effort, and it just showed, Burnham being too good, kill the white male, etc., etc. Everything about it was not worth the money. I'd rather have good lines presented well. They don't cost, 400,000 of your budget just for a cool sequence that you forget. Besides the I don't like it because it's silly. Okay, well there you go. Not many dislikes. That is pretty interesting.
Yeah, and Sean Leatherman says it transports him to a Gorn wedding.
Yeah, bring back the Gorn. Bring back the Gorn. Yeah.
Yes. So super chat continuation. Christian Montgomery, $5. It was okay, 6 out of 10. How much longer will Book be freeloading in the main shuttle in the main bay? That's a good question. DS Win, $5, 7 out of 10. More interested in Navarre than with Burnham's angst. Yes. Yeah, I want to learn more about how they reunified and stuff. That's an interesting story. And Charles June, $5. Love you guys. No.
Sorry, Stuart, you left. What?
I said no.
No, what?
And I didn't leave. I went like this. I went, no.
But you didn't read the super chat, sorry, from my perspective. Sorry.
Oh, didn't I?
No. I'm sorry.
Well, you're wrong.
I'm sorry.
Again, though, Charles June. Love you guys, but Captain, what about a Detmer episode? And the answer is a definitive no. Don't care, unless it's her dying, which is harsh. But anywho, all right. So let's talk about this thing.
So, Stuart, what do you think of season 3, episode 7?
I don't know. I watched it going, this is pretty good. And at the end of it, I'm going, doesn't feel like that was very good. Then I watched it again, and I'm like, okay, well, now I see some of the problems. The Tilly thing really annoyed me because everybody was saying, oh, Tilly's going to be in the new XO. I'm like, that's dumb. There's no way they're going to do that.
We were like, they can't be that silly. They can't be. They've earned so much credit this year. Oh.
Yeah.
Picture Mr. Plinkett. Oh.
Yeah. So, yeah, there's a lot of... Like I said, there's a lot of good here. There's a lot of good casting, some good exposition, as I said. Learning about the unification of Romulans and Vulcans was great. Perfect way to do an exposition dump, in my opinion, without feeling like an exposition dump. This was pretty good. So there's a lot there as far as that goes. Good writing, like I said, very dense as far as information goes.
Super dense.
And well acted for the most part, and the casting of the Romulan and the Vulcans was really good as well. So all that good stuff going for it, but then some stuff that just knocked it down, and that's the whole Tilly thing, and I'm sure there's other stuff we'll see when we go through this that
the Michael's mum thing. Now I've pointed out.
Oh yes, that's the whole video, but yeah. So Yeah. There's a lot there that just kind of made me go, what? Okay.
And that's unusual for you. For the
Yeah.
most part, you tend to side on one side of the fence, to the other.
Yeah.
And I didn't know how you're gonna feel about this. You know, I walked out being more positive than you, which we're not gonna say is rare. Like we swap. We either swap or
Yeah.
agree. The stupid is stupid, but there are caveats inside of the dialogue, and in fact, rewatching it, and this might be me obviously looking for the positive, looking for the hope. And again, this season they've earned a lot more faith in them. You know, I said early on, how did the ship get that damaged? That's stupid. Oh no, work bees next to okay, work bees, fair enough. Yeah, okay, you addressed it. Didn't look right, but you still addressed it. Fine. So you know, assuming that might go somewhere. But I mean, nothing this episode is as stupid as the Section 31 designing a pre-TOS time suit that can go anywhere in the galaxy, universe, time, or space. The crystal that's easily accessible and powered by supernova that's easily findable. I mean, nothing's more stupid than that, you know? So, yeah. But, yeah, I think, again, Michael Burnham is a tricky character, but she's written so much better. It's an intense set of scenes, and it is a bottle show, but I would rather watch good character dialogue that's interesting, which it was, and it's, you know, a canon races. They weren't, like, if they'd invented a new race, right? I wouldn't have given a shit, because it doesn't matter in the grand scheme. The fact this is another, like the Trill, is another core race where every single thing one of the three of them says gives you texture. That's important to us as Star Trek fans, and so I will take long scenes of interesting than just action or whatever. And I'm wondering if the reason that this show is going on the cheap side is either they're giving less money, which would be odd, or they are saving it for later on. They're, you know, because they actually planned, the first season actually planned from start to finish before they filmed, which is absurd that you say that. Maybe at the end they're going to have a big bonanza, and they're saving, you know, the first couple have to be bigger, slow down for a bit, whatever. I'm kind of, that may be the way, because every time you save some money, it's useful. But there's still some good stuff. You know, casting like I said was great. The president in the thumbnail, brilliant choice, very nuanced, and yet there's still the ability to have them play off Vulcan. It's 800 years or 900 years, or I guess 600 from where we know. You could probably argue, oh yeah, Vulcans are more emotional now because they're interbred with you know, Romulans, but they still felt Vulcan. That was a choice, you know. They could have gone one way, they didn't. But the Romulans certainly felt more Vulcan, which I was surprised but pleased about. They stayed at a tone and then shifted as they needed to. I liked that. That was good. Michael's about a mum. Stupid. But well played in the episode. Once you ignore the J.J. Abrams logic, she was good in it.
Yeah.
And the Tilly thing is garbage. But if it has a payoff. But it is weird when every single person on the ship is more qualified than she is. Literally everyone else. Even the nurses who've served more than her. You know? Every single person. Oh, I didn't like the line where when he goes for Tilly and he's like, and Sarah's like, you went through a wormhole into the future. Yeah. That's more experience than anyone.
That's more experience than the command training program completing it.
And it's like,
really?
If it is, then anyone on the ship is therefore more experienced. Like, she did nothing
they
special.
Experienced it too.
So that's a moot point, Saru, you shit. Yes. Everyone's done that. And she had no specific part in it. She didn't play any part. If she was flying the suit, working the ship, she didn't do anything special.
But that line was to build her confidence, because he sees that she doesn't have any confidence. He wants to build it. I think that's what deserved.
Yeah. But you know what I mean? It's such a stupid line, as is the, you know, Spock owes everything to you, Michael Burnham, maybe. Stupid line. So yeah, it's definitely has a great core, a great concept, but it has a few real missteps that are weird.
Chili Bina throws in $5. Unification stuff was great. Romulans seem like good guys now. Vulcans still arrogant and judgmental, but ultimately still good. This made sense to me. Yeah, and I love how there was the Romulans, the purest Vulcans, and then the one that rides the line and tries to do the Romulan and Vulcan thing. It was a nice mix of the three, and none of them could come up with a consensus as far as whether it's, you know, what's going on. So that was good.
And definitely everything with the Vulcans and Romulans was interesting. All of it. And that's most of the episode, you know? Although Hezrat says a great point. The homeless incident occurred in the Kelvin timeline depiction is different to the Prime timeline. The TV one was the Romulan sun. The other universe is a different star, which is interesting. They are, you know, you can really call them as distinct events, which means they can't really be the same, but it doesn't matter at this point anyway. Well, the way they talk about Spock, they didn't say you know, they never mention black hole or how he died, or it kind of feels like he just died. You know, because he was missing.
Yeah. Yeah. One of the Vulcans made a point of saying, after his death, and then and there's another line of dialogue too about why did he abandon the Federation? Well, just because he left it doesn't mean he didn't love it, and who's to say he wasn't going to come back? It's like, okay, what?
I mean, none of you knew Spock, so that's a bit rich to say he abandoned the Federation. No, he left his post to go back to his people. He did serve the Federation for like 190 years. I'm sorry, that's quite a long time, really. So not everyone could be Sarek that does it until he goes insane.
Yeah. Let's see here. Judge 1981, $5. Captain, we have a situation. Over 240 people, but not enough likes. I think we have Romulans undercover. Probably. We have 300 people now with 145 likes. We can hit 100. Okay, I'm going to be. So I'm going to push it this time. Remember, I said that. 200. We can hit 200 likes easily. I think that's a possibility, guys. So hit that like button if you haven't. Let's get those up.
And DS Wayne does say, yeah, no mention of the Remans. I didn't even clock that even in 2 viewings, but I mentioned it 2 days ago. Yeah, no one said Remans. But obviously, the crew of the Discovery wouldn't know about the Remans. Yeah. They would know nothing. So it would be up to them to mention the Remans.
Yep. Joshua 11345 puts in $2. What is the lifespan of dilithium? I don't know.
Depends how it's used.
I would say so, yes.
I assume the more you use it, the more potential cracks in it. You have to recrystallize it, and then just use it wears out, like any sort of material that wears out.
Yep.
It's like how I mean, someone quoted a great thing about the plutonium rod. Like, what's the lifespan of that? Well, until it sort of wears out.
Wolfsbane Network, $2. Noticed a bit of Romulan racism from the Disco crew. I didn't. Most of the Disco crew know that the Romulans are enemies, but not that they don't know what's going on. Even Saru says they're enemies in our time. But
did anyone even speak about the Romulans? I mean, I'm where, and please seriously, please do, because I didn't hear any racism. Because from their perspective, they've even seen no one's seen the Romulans for 80 years, and before that, they were the biggest war we ever had. So they're like really bad people that we haven't seen for a long time. But no one talks to Romulans the rest of the episode. So I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly what you're referring to. Ensign Ricky, $2. The worst episode so far, in my opinion. Not bad, but not great. There you go. I don't know if I call it the worst, but
still interesting. Yeah, still interesting.
Darth Duck, or D4th Duck, £5. €5, sorry. Can we have a Star Trek series that focuses on a ship and his crew and the crew, not one character? It's boring. All about Burnham. Yes. And the thing that pissed me off, and I think pissed a lot of people off, and it's one thing that the Fandom Menace is going to latch on to, is the president wonders what kind of person Spock was because of his sister, or what made Spock such a great person because his sister. I forget the exact quote. It's in here somewhere.
Because of his sister.
Yeah. It's like, really? Shut the fuck up. Sorry.
It's a shame.
That's definitely STF.
I mean, we know that Michael Burnham is the only reason Spock is good, but he's obviously the only reason his legacy is so good. It'd be interesting to see Leonard Nimoy how he felt about that. He worked on it for 50 years. For 3 years of work, all of your character's legacy gets ruined by giving credit to some random person.
Your sister. I have a sister. Exactly.
They fly now.
Exactly. She does in the Red Angel suit.
Yeah.
Matthew Wallace, £3.
There you
go. Imagine season 3 Harry Kim as number 1.
Well, at least he finished the academy.
That would make more sense. He was on the bridge more and more confident and not hiding behind bars during fights, and
Because Tilly's not actually a bridge officer; she's an engineer. She's sometimes on the bridge to do something, but she's not actually a bridge officer. So he's actually a bridge officer, and he's the head of operations on the bridge. So he's already a division head. Tilly's not a division head, not a bridge officer, didn't finish the academy. Because everybody on the bridge sees the captain in action every day. So you get that passive command training through that, you know?
Mhm.
Every day.
Mm-hmm. Eugene, 200 rubles.
Thank
Weird
you.
episode. The acting is awesome and emotional.
Yeah.
Focus on characters is great, but the actual dialogue content is sometimes okay, sometimes weird, sometimes total BS. Well, we're going to look at it scene by scene and we'll see.
And Hezraz says it's a subtle prejudice that you can see through body language. Well, it sounds like you're looking for it. Like, no one flicked off a Romulan. And of course you'd be negative towards them. They were villains. I mean, I don't think it's unfair for Americans and English to be like, Nazis? I mean, it was 60 years after, you know. It's like, I think that's fair, you know. But not against them personally, just what they meant a while ago. But if you're really looking for body language, that's a...
Yeah, I didn't get that feeling at all.
I thought it was very balanced, actually, considering. They kind of glossed over it and went straight to the positives. Of like, hey, we're unified. Cool, moving on.
Snoopy McQueen puts in $5.
Thank
This
you.
was one of the greatest Trek episodes of all time. Give it a 9 out of 10. Greatest Trek episodes of
He
all
may
time.
not have seen much Star Trek.
Well, Snoopy's been here a lot, though. He knows our thoughts on things.
Maybe not.
And it's
TOS.
interesting.
Yeah.
Interested to find out why, Snoopy.
I mean, in all fairness, though, as sequels go, probably arguably one of the best direct sequels. But there isn't that many sequels, so that's a very small category. But
and the fact they tie it into TNG, they mentioned John Luc Picard, his personal records, and also the Kawat Malat tie it into the new Picard. So, let's see. Wolfsbane Network, $5. Burnham blames the Romulans for the thing not going well, and Saru also assumes the Romulans are the reason they left the Federation.
Well, yeah, because they were the villains at their time, and the Vulcans are the founding members. Why would you? Yeah, you'd obviously assume the Romulans over the Vulcans, and as soon as but of course you would assume that.
And that was just a quick off the cuff, like, what? The Vulcans wanted to leave? No.
Yeah, because they were the first ones we were friends with, so of course it's a logical assumption.
Yeah. That's just what you learn, and yes, I don't think that.
And it was just surprising their voice. It wasn't like those fucking filthy Romulans that I've never met or interacted with my entire life. I know nothing about. I don't even know. I don't even know our Vulcans. I have no idea about any of their race. Fucking yeah. Come on. Of course not.
Well, I love how the Admiral even says there was a split between the Vulcans and the Romulans that you didn't know about in your time or whatever. And it's like, thank God they said that. Like. But anyway,
and I thought actually we were calling for that. I thought his dialogue was excellent. Their summation of it was elegant, simple, effective. I loved his acting again. So well done, very well handled. Probably brushed over a little bit too much, a little bit quick, but it was so elegant and simple. And to be fair, in this situation, these two crew members have everything to accept, right? Everything in the universe. They're not gonna, you know what I mean? It's just another thing to add to the list. Okay, the Vulcans, fine. Moving on. You know?
It's also like the Admiral's whole life experience has been that the Vulcan or Tavar has not been part of the Federation because it was 100 years ago. Yeah. So it's like, this is the Cliff Notes version. It's not like it happened 30 years ago. Yeah. Here's the Cliff Notes version. You want to look into it? You got all the information available to you, but here's what I know.
And actually, I've made that point before. He was not born before the burn. So this is just the world. So when he was called Navarre way before that as well. So to him, they're like, oh yeah, I mean, like 500 years ago it was called Vulcan. Like my father's father. Like I like that there's a lack of, oh, it's called Navarre, isn't it? No, it's just that's the real name. It's just, I like that. Kind of the new reality was very strong with that because it's been that long.
It was a very to the point, like on Navarre, as you might know it, Vulcan.
Yep.
It's like,
it was good. Yeah, it was very efficient. I liked it.
Ronald Anderson, $5. Michael's mother built the first Red Angel suit. Why can't she build another one?
She could.
She could indeed.
And with
so could the Discovery crew with all the shit laying around their ship.
They have the schematics. Yeah, everyone could. Everyone on the ship.
Yeah.
And they know where to find time crystals. And at the very least, they know what time crystal's signature is. They could find a new one. Yeah.
Yep.
It's that easy.
Christian Montgomery, $2. Report to the XO if you don't hit like. Yes, hit like, guys. Another 23 likes would be great. Let's get to the 200 mark. But we have over 330 people here right now. So we should be able to hit 300 or 250 at least. So hit that like button if you haven't, please.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Beautiful. So first shot is, I believe, the new logo, the new Federation logo.
Yep.
Which is all right. Different split, but at least the split's sort of gone. At least I'm sort of neutral on it. It's fine. It's all right.
I like it. It's better than the Discovery one, in my opinion. So.
And you were right, Stuart. This takes place seconds after the last episode. All credit to you. Well done.
But we thought she was coming down the ramp of a shuttle. She's actually going to the ramp into the shuttle bay. So a little bit different.
And I like how the thing on the book. Nope, not even a thing. It's just a bit of set dressing. Beautiful. We don't have to go into it. It was a non-thing. Moving on. Excellent. Good. It's trailer bait. And Burnham has
sex with Book. And the whole discussion of, I don't know if I belong here because I just got demoted and I feel like, a failure. So I want to leave. And Book's like, yeah, I think we should leave. I don't hate being here. Hate's a strong word.
That
but
was a great.
I can't live in the shuttle bay the whole time.
I thought it was a great opening. Actually, I thought it was. I actually buy them. He's great. She's much better. I buy them together, and after this few minutes together, this is how you create characters. He's more interesting than most of the cast after 6 appearances.
But the reference to her brother here is like kind of odd, because she says my brother called me out on it, taking responsibility for everything. He's like, I think your brother and I would have got on really well.
Yeah.
And then he mentions her Messiah complex, and she's like, oh, like somebody that saves helpless animals. Oh yeah. That was kind of cute. I thought that was a good scene.
No, it's right. I mean, the brother thing is just there because they have to set that up. It's not organic, but I can forgive it. And yeah, I like the Messiah complex. The character of Michael Burnham is getting called out way more than she used to. The writers understand that she is too much, and so they can point out her flaws more, and she accepts them. So at least it's more fleshing out. And yes, Lipo Duran says, yeah, people see through the window of the ship at them doing it. Some well-placed work being going, it was a bit.
That's funny.
It was a bit out in the open, but that's okay.
Kevin Fletcher, 35. Not sure what that is, but thank you.
Zah. That is South African rands. It's $2.
Ooh, awesome! Thank you very much.
Welcome.
Wouldn't the sphere data have had info on Vulcans and Romulans past? Probably, yeah. But doesn't mean you're looking for that specifically, right?
And also only if they went past Romulus and Vulcan, both of which are very far away and in our quadrant. So there's no evidence to say they did, because otherwise, what you're saying, the sphere has data. The sphere has data on every single planet.
I mean, if it runs by a database of a ship that could take all that information in, it might be in there. So.
But that's even more MacGuffin. I assumed it was just like it's a life form that flies past things.
Yeah.
And even if it did, how many of us have got a good archive or something and like, oh, I didn't search this until 2 years. Yeah, because I never had a reason to.
Yeah, exactly.
But no, it's not a be all end all.
Yeah. Danny Shields, €5.
Thank you.
Did anybody else twig that the ship that provided the crucial black box information was USS Yelchin? Very nice touch. That is appreciated. That I appreciated. Yes, I'm not going to mention that in a second. There's actually 3 ships that they mention. One of which sounds Klingon. But yeah, the Yelchin was mentioned twice, and I thought that was a great homage to Anton Yelchin. And this goes back to what I said with the USS Nog. I wish it would have been the USS
Eisenberg.
Eisenberg, yeah. But it is the Eisenberg class, so I mean, hey.
And although in rewatching it, you cannot hear them say Yelchin the first time. The way Tilly says it is too like.
I heard it the first time.
Even if you told me, I couldn't I barely heard the Y. The second time it's okay, but yeah, it might be her accent. I don't know, but it was insanely not easy to hear the first time. I wonder why I missed it.
Yeah, I noticed it the first time right away. Like, ooh, Yelchin, that's a good reference. And then she says it again a second later. or a minute later. It's like, that's good.
So it's a little bit subtle for me, and then it is hard to hear. Although, I don't know if you noticed, and we'll get there, that the third black box is not a Federation black box. So
Yeah, I think it's the Klingon one.
I think it's a Klingon one, yeah. But Klingon Federation black box, just
Yes.
Starship.
Yep.
That I'll be excited to zoom in on, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ensign Ricky, $2. LOL, Vulcan hairstyle hasn't changed in 1,000 years. Yeah, same with some. There was even some Romulans, like some TNG legit Romulan hairstyles going on in the people sitting in the background there. So.
Well, the thing is, they have the entire costume and makeup department from Picard, so of course they're going to do Vulcans and Romulans exceptionally well. But Tim Hands fights us back on the Tilly thing, saying Tilly becoming temporary acting first officer makes sense. She's the most qualified and experienced bridge officer other than Burnham. Thoughts?
Bullshit. She is just a newly minted ensign. She literally got promoted at the end of season 2. Never finished the academy, and she was not a bridge officer. She was engineering specialist. So, sure, she could be on the bridge sometimes in the engineering position, helping out. But Bryce, Reese, Detmer, Washicum, they were all bridge officers.
And Notarium.
And they're exactly, and therefore more qualified. Yeah, Lieutenant Nielsen is her name.
Who's actually a higher rank.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're actually now more qualified, officers. Yeah. And
Eugene's like she does have command experience as Captain Killy.
Sure.
Oh yes, she's got a minute in the captain's chair. Sure.
Being evil as well. So no, I sorry, Tim. It's one of the worst qualified. I really wish it was a blonde lady. Like, she's
I do
kind of give her a reason to be there, because I feel like they just like the actress, and that's it. She hasn't done anything. But that would have been nice. And lieutenant's a good rank to kind of. I could buy a lieutenant being like, yeah, we like you. You're good. You know.
Yeah, and you guys know I love Tilly. Like, you think I'd be all on board for her being the XO, but it just doesn't make any sense. So sorry, no.
The thing is, I think she's gonna factor in super minimally as XO anyway. I think it's gonna be like a couple of important scenes.
It's just going to be a confidence booster and a character development for her. That's what it's going to be on her steps towards being a captain eventually.
And then lead up to one important scene.
That was her big thing, to be captain someday. Like, that's her thing, right? So.
But because we can't focus on the characters, that kind of isn't given much room to breathe. It's like her entire season 1, and then it's like season 2 is like, oh, it's sort of there.
Yep.
But now it's back. We're like, okay. Although I don't think she'll ever be given a captain this future. Like, she'll have to be retrained. Like, none of these crew are like going to be able to be in command of new ships unless they have massive retraining, etc.
I will say this. I don't know if Olivia's here, but Tilly's way more qualified to be the XO than Olivia is to be the Federation president. And yet somehow, Olivia is the Federation president. One of them. She shares it jointly with Mark Lawrence, who I think probably deserves it. He's a good guy. Not saying Olivia doesn't. Anyway. Yeah, this whole confrontation here at the beginning with her and Tilly was like, you were put me in a really bad place with Saru. And he's like, I'm sorry, it would have been worse if I had said something. She goes, that would have been my choice. You left no choice. And I love how she's like, F you, Burnham. So that was pretty good, I gotta say.
But at that point,
again, Burnham getting put in her place by everybody lately.
It's fine if she's always right in the end, but if people call her out for the wrong decisions, because they're wrong sometimes, they just might lead to the right action, etc. And this is an interesting scene because I guessed in this scene that she's probably going to be the XO. There's always in my mind. So watching this scene, I'm like, oh yeah, she's being too serious to be Tilly. She's being, we'll see her as the responsible Tilly. Because remember, just 3 episodes ago, she was hiding under a desk, hiding behind a bar because she couldn't do any usefulness.
The real reason for that is because the actress was pregnant and couldn't do any fight scenes. But still, I called that out at the time, remember? I said somebody that wants to be captain eventually and is a bar during a fight.
Yep. So the show lets us down. But I mean, the whole thing. But it's a good little scene, and I guess is what was released last time. The 3 points isn't enough. You need 4 points at minimum. I'm surprised, though, that she instantly throws in the SP9 thing, SP6. It's kind of a bit of out of the blue. Especially as I don't understand exactly what it's trying to be, because the tech is about traveling faster than light, but she has access to maybe the sensors of scanners, but they're through subspace. But how far would they be? Because they wouldn't. it'd be very lucky if they were inside the radius of where the burn may have started from. Like that sound a bit lucky. I don't understand what they would. You know what I mean? What was the point of? There are scanners that there are somewhere in the galaxy that may or may not be useful. It's like, okay, I doubt they cover 5,000 light years. Otherwise, they'd be used now. You know, I didn't quite get the leap from there to there, the direct leap. Don't know if you guys did.
No, it was just hey, this is a thing that's going to be important in 2 seconds.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Species 8470, $5. Tilly doesn't have the confidence to be first officer of anything.
Yet.
She can be the first officer of my bed. That'd be fine. Damn. Zachary Tyson, $5. Book can't stand living in the shuttle bay because he keeps asking them to close the damn door and they won't. Yeah.
I gotta say again, that guy, he does good. He either does really good or not as good, but never's bad. And it's just like, I can't live in this bloody shuttle bay. It's absurd! That's good. I like that.
Yeah. Matthew Wallace, £3. Can captains choose their own number one or
have to
for protocol? I
have
don't
to follow protocol.
Oh,
yeah,
that's a good question.
Well, we've seen lower decks. You just choose someone that you know. I mean,
but that was a temporary command of the ship. Even that was like, there's the ship. We're not going to be doing anything important, so you can kind of choose whoever the hell you want. It's not like we're doing anything like
regular. People like that pissed off our own crew.
Yeah, so it's hard to say. I don't know.
But I mean, I'm sure anything with an acting in it, there's a certain level of you're temporary, you know.
Yeah. But we find out the USS Yelchin was the first black box that Burnham had found, and it was like 1/1,000,000th of a second difference from the other one. Now the second one, the Gav Nor, so GAV, NOR, which is very much a Klingon name.
Sorry,
Gav
Nor. There you go.
It was 1,000 light years away.
That's a long way.
And the lost contact 1/1,000,000th of a second, millisecond later. 1/1,000,000th of a millisecond, like. That's instant almost.
Yep.
But then the last one, the Giacconi.
Yes.
And that's the one that Book just found. That's the newest one. And they were still waiting for the data points on that. But then they found the triangulation. And yes, she said, and I was wrong on this when we talked about this on the prediction video. On a 2D thing, the 3 would be perfect. She would know exactly. But in 3 dimensions, the 3 is enough to give you an area, but it's too much to search in multiple lifetimes. So it's still. But I thought in space terms, a galaxy, that's kind of pinpointy, you know? It's a system.
Well, it's like I said, it all depends on how far away these things are. If it's 3 points inside our solar system, you can find it quite quickly, but 1,000 light years between.
Yeah.
That's hundreds of light years of whatever. And yes, you can see 3 different black boxes, 1 copper, 1 silver, and 1 diddly, and I would be happy to call that Klingon. And that's a nice attention to detail. Totally unnecessary. Don't know what they're doing here specifically. That's going to play a part later, but I liked that. I don't know why. There was something to do nice. This is a good scene. This is a well-acted scene. I like Tilly. I like Burnham. It's a good sciencey thing. They both sell it, which is hard sometimes, so good for them.
Except for the whole, what would you have done if you hadn't made, or what would I have done if you hadn't made it back? You would have been perfectly fine, because she wasn't around for most of season 2.
In season 1, she was also away for the last 4 episodes on a Mirror Universe ship. Yeah, I did. To make, and the same at the end, to make Tilly be like, I get she's not confident, but it kind of feels like she's siphoning confidence off her. Like she needs Burnham to be okay. As a, but it just feels so undeserved.
And Chris Gwillem says, I mentioned the 2D 3D thing last vid. Yeah, it was kind of a discussion, and I was the one that said, no, you'd be able to triangulate it pretty easy with just 3 points in 3D, but I was wrong. So yeah. Joshua 11345 throws in $5.
Thank you.
I think there was a scene taken out of the Emperor Giorgio in sickbay with her feet on the doctor's desk. Say what?
Well, okay then.
Don't know where you got that from, but okay.
Let me be specific. Then I think this is growing
on in this episode, and you think Giorgio would make an appearance in this episode as a confidant for Michael, or to butt in and meet her mom, kind of thing, you know. Anyway, that's neither here nor there.
Yeah, next week it'll be a thing. But I really like this next shot. I'm starting to like the walkway more and more, and I appreciate, because this is all a digital effect, obviously it's just a blank floor. They put CGI people underneath, and they don't look great, but they do just fine. Just fine is enough. But I mean, that does give you a sense of, oh yeah, because we talk about the base today, and yeah, multiple levels. You know, it's not like it's unsafe because the thing builds around you. Yeah, so fine. No, it's actually a good little effect. So it's a nice way of, you know, invisibling your set and then pulling the set back together as you're doing it.
Yeah,
It's
it's also a good security protocol. Like the nano floor, the programmable matter doesn't become a floor if your badge isn't registered to be in that area. It's like you can't get across. Yeah. Whereas if it's the Admiral, it's just like, yep, here's the floor for you.
But here is the reveal, and this one is a few situations where you may have said, oh my god, 3 episodes they talk in this one room and they could all film at the same time, whatever. But because he's such a good actor, these are like classic back to base mission briefs. Then the writing is always on point here. I do not mind. This feels right to me, you know. And I hope we're gonna get every episode this sort of briefing. Something will bring us to talk to the head of Starfleet, because I was not enthralled, but I really liked this stuff.
Species 8470 throws in $2. Will the Klingons still be in the Federation? That's a good question, and we don't know yet, but I would assume yes. Because why not?
Well, that would be a nice twist, wouldn't it? Actually, if the Vulcans left and the Trill left, but the Klingons decide to stay, and so that'd be great if one episode coming up as a Klingon captain that comes in with the Klingon second in command, they're in full Starfleet, and she's like, like what? There's a Klingon. Yeah, it's Captain Karoth. He was the best man at my wedding. What? Yeah, been part of the Federation for the last 700 years. It's like, oh. And that'd be lovely, like, especially season 1, like, being the worst kind of terrorist, horrible, genocidal people too. Yeah, literally. They stayed. All the people stayed.
You see a Klingon come around the corner and burn them. Get down! Yeah. Shoves people, pulls out her phaser.
And it just dies. Like, oh my god! Burnham, stop breaking the rules! Don't kill captains! Actually, wouldn't it be great if you had like a custom baldric, like Worf's, but like thinner and different material? That'd be cool. I like
that. Yeah, and here we find out about Navarre, formerly known as Vulcan. And she's like, Vulcan changed their name? What? The look on her face was awesome, actually. But yeah, not just Vulcans live there. Now it's the Romulans and the Vulcans. They were considered enemies in our time. And he goes for a long time after as well. But then Ambassador Spock, and he says, you see, history had forgot this, but in your time, the Vulcans and Romulans were 2 tribes of the same species. So, and then he goes on to talk about reunification and Spock's desire to get them reunified, and it's like, that's awesome. Such a great tie-in.
Yeah, it's great. It's a really good little scene.
And this is the Admiral. It says it took centuries after his death, but yes, they reunified. So, according to the Admiral, Spock, there was a death for Spock, not just he went missing. Yeah. So,
small thing, but now I wasn't. Yeah. This is one of those ones where I wish they hadn't have changed the name, because I wouldn't have done that. Although it doesn't detract from the name being Vulcan for every other year. It doesn't, but it makes sense. You know, we're not Vulcans or Romulans. We're a unified people again.
Especially the meaning of the name, because it was used in 1967 by a linguist for one of the stories for one of the fanzines.
Wow.
And it means referring to the duality of things, 2 who are one, 2 diversities that are a unity, 2 halves that come together to make a whole. So it was actually the perfect name for the reunification of the planet. I think that's great.
My only note is it's very unmemorable. I will not remember that for a long time. But
I didn't think I would either until I started using it. Just Navarre. It's so simple. I write it on a pad in front of me, anything I need to remember. And literally by the time we're halfway done our first review, I've got it all memorized. So I suggest maybe doing that for you too.
Well, I used to, and I stopped because...
Oh, yeah. Gotcha.
I was season 1 and season 2. But no, yeah, I mean, hey, I am absolutely happy with Unification being successful, done over 100 years ago. Boom. Well done. And it does, I think, deepen Picard a little bit. It retroactively makes you think, oh, that's going to be worthwhile. Like, the Romulans do find a home. They do become stable. They do, you know? All that shit isn't going to lead anywhere bad. That's good. That's a good feeling, you know?
Bryant Fuller throws in $10.
Oh, thank you.
I wonder what's going to happen at the end of the season. I actually wonder, then they may get sent back to their own time. Will Zora resurface, or was the Discovery replaced and it's in the nebula somewhere? See, that's the thing. I don't know what's going to happen with the other Discovery that's in the nebula for the events of Calypso. We'll see how that ties in, if it does at all. It could have been a one-off, I guess. But if they go back to their own time now being upgraded, shit. Maybe they go back for their own time, overshoot it, and go pre-Kelvin. And that's why the Kelvin universe, because they go across over to that somehow, is so advanced when Nero jumps in already, because the Kelvin's already a big ship and it shouldn't be. So let's tie it all together, all of them. Let's just fix it all with Discovery. Come on, guys, we can do it.
You want a Chris Pine cameo, is what I'm hearing.
No, I don't like Chris Pine.
Fine, you want Alice Eve cameo, is what I'm hearing.
Yes, 1,000 times yes.
Good comment by Mechanix. Is Navarre the same as New Vulcan that Spock founded from the JJ-verse? No, New Vulcan is a new planet. Navarre is just Vulcan renamed.
Yes. Area 51, $5. Burnham kills a Klingon. Vance screams, "You just shot the Federation president."
Yeah. That would be interesting, having been president or vice president. That would be a ballsy move, and I would respect them for it. If he's a TNG Klingon, like, I'm not going to accept anything Discovery. Sorry.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you fuck us again. But speaking of fucking us again, what isn't fucking us again is a shot of the ship.
Oh yes.
It's nice.
It is. It's very good.
But yeah, it's nice.
And here we find out that yes, the Vulcans, or Tavar, left the Federation 100 years ago.
Yep.
But it was the Vulcans that wanted to leave. The Romulans are the ones that wanted to stay.
That's a good line.
Yeah. And then they talk about, even before the burn, dilithium was scarce. The Federation had expanded so much. Well, actually, we get that explanation later. But we were running out of dilithium, so all member worlds were ordered to put their best scientists to find a solution. And Navarre's contribution was SB-19, which, according to the little graphic there, looks just like a transwarp gate.
Yup.
But it gets you anywhere in an instant, much like the Spore Drive, they say.
And it's also the Connie ship that we like.
Yep.
And I was just getting like Borg transwarp vibes here. I'm like, guys, you've had Borg transwarp like knowledge for 600 years. It took you that long to build a vortex, or an Iconian style. I mean, I like the two sides. Like, it feels like a Babylon 5 gate, you know, being created. But it's like, guys, the Borg already had this tech. Like, it was such a bizarre scene to say all the Federation member worlds of all the 600 worlds were designing stuff, and the best we come up with is a sort of transwarp gate after 20 years. It's like, really?
Yeah.
Really?
Started on that. That bugs me to no end.
Considering Picard and Hugh also went through the Voyager gateway thing, which was also as powerful. That could have. It's like, I mean,
yep.
It's weird.
There needs to be a conversation about all the different FTLs and why they weren't used or whatever. But
because you can have a great scene of that, and actually it'd be a really good scene, saying the Borg became a threat again in the 2600s, and we destabilized the entire transwarp grid, so no transwarp conduits could exist in the subspace layer transwarp, and so we had to destroy transwarp to stop them from coming to us. How cool would that be? Well, that takes out a full type of propulsion. That'd be great. You know, there's some of those things are needed for sure, because they are missing.
Snoopy McQueen, $3. Prime Universe, planet Vulcan exists.
Here it is. We see it.
Yes. Bryant Fuller, $5. It's a shame Romulus was never retention. It's a shame Romulus was never retention.
It is a shame.
I don't know what you mean, though.
Sorry.
Yeah. The STEM support, $28. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Shit.
Tilly isn't qualified, but They make it clear she isn't via character,
Yep.
reactions, dialogue, etc.
Yep.
But she is exceptional, exceptional clearly, and she's shown her smarts, morality many times. Saru gives her a chance to show it via acting first officer. Yes, I think it's more of a confidence builder for the character. Perhaps Saru sees more potential in her than she herself does, and this is maybe his way of bolstering that. I don't think it's the best idea, but yeah.
Well, honestly, I agree with your points for the most part, but in reality, as they say in dialogue, are you picking me because I'm qualified or because I'll do what you say?
Qualified or compliant? It's a
It
great
is
line.
not. She's not qualified. She's compliant. And she can be qualified. She can be compliant and means well and will try hard, but she'll do what he says. That's the most important thing from right now, you know. And just being smart does not make you good at being a like. You never got the sense Riker was a scientist. Like, he's not smart like Tilly. Neither's Kira. You know, so smart is not the thing you want necessarily to be in command, etc. So those do not go hand in hand. You need other sort of skills. I mean, you know, Kirk was a pilot. Like, he wasn't, you know, Kirk isn't science smart, so clearly that isn't a prerequisite. Other things until he's not a leader yet. Experience, you know, but as in will come.
And I am so glad that Tilly's compliant.
Especially to captains.
See, I didn't go that far, but there you go. Broken speaker, $5. I can't put a finger on it, but I did not like this episode. Exactly my thought. Too much Burnham in the center of the universe. Too many thoughts for a super chat. Yeah, well, hopefully that was what this discussion will break down. Because, I felt the same way at the end of this. I wasn't sure what was wrong with the episode. Joshua Clark, though, $5. Do you have to have existing transwarp conduits to use transwarp? Endgame took out a huge transwarp hub. Well, depending on the different... Transwarp has been used a few times, reference to, and it's different tech in some cases. But yeah, to use the transwarp... I assume the transwarp conduits were to make it more reliable, probably.
So a ship can create its own transwarp corridor, which is one speed, based on how much power you can put through a transwarp coil. The transwarp network was a always-on, more stable, much more powerful, much faster. A Borg cube could not go from here to there instantly with its own coil, but could through a pre-existing transwarp network. So... And you'd need one to travel. Like, they're not a two-way streak. I mean, I guess you could open. Yeah, you could. I guess you could open the tunnel on either side. You have to obviously cool them. But yeah, they're created by nodes, so you could build a new one. That's why I'm arguing if they destroyed like transwarp space, and besides the Borg had more network, and each ship had its own transwarp coil anyway. So it's I mean, Voyager had a transwarp coil. I mean, they had one. It was burned out, but they had the tech, and they worked with it. But then we get the moment where it goes, and you kind of get a sense that he kind of forgot that he was pissed at Burnham yesterday.
Yes.
A little bit of a disconnect there, like just a little bit. I wish it'd been a little more, but he is very much using her, and so I can see him going past that and saying, "Oh no, this today."
It was that flash of inspiration, like Spock's sister could go and reestablish communications with them and maybe get the answers.
Which is logical. I mean, this is not a... I mean, it's a weapon in the arsenal. It's something.
Yeah. I love the line, too, that he said they don't think they're responsible for the burn. They think that we're responsible for forcing them to cause the burn.
Yeah, that was hard.
That was great. That was great because they were pushing them to continue the research. So that's a very key thing as to why they left, I think. So I wanted to point that out.
Yeah, that adds so much texture and depth because this is going to be a longer story. Is why Vulcan left, because clearly there are hints to that. They thought it.
Yeah, later she says, it was a lot more than that. There's stuff leading up to it, but yeah.
No, and I like. I mean, it was a weird curveball, especially if next week we learn what did cause the burn, or at least where it started. To have the Vulcans say, well, we think we caused it. They're smart people, right? And they explicitly say later, all the evidence from the SB6 is, that's it, that's the evidence. And if they think they know the answer and have for 120 years, or at least 100 years, it must be really good evidence, you know? Like, that's not some small thing. They must really believe for a really good reason. So that is going to be, if that's well thought out, that could be really, really interesting.
But yeah, we're sending a brief to Vulcan or to Tavar that Spock's sister is on her way. Whoop-de-doo.
Yeah. It's just to get your foot in the door. That's all it is, really.
Yeah, well, it's basically pushing the, she's Mary Sue, but she's not the one saying, I'm the only one that can do it. It's someone else forcing her hand, which has been the ongoing trope this season. Everybody's forcing her hand to do these things. Yep. Whereas the last 2 seasons, it was basically her stepping in saying, screw the orders, I can do this. So they've kind of taken the onus off her to be the Mary Sue, even though she still is. She's being forced into it, which I think is just course corrections from complaints of people. Hopefully next season, if it'll be a little bit better and she won't be the focus. But
yeah, it's amazing how it's still not an ensemble show. Every season they're told we want an ensemble show, and every season they fail at that. It's very strange. But I like. She says, "Sir, I can't represent the Federation. I barely know if I want to be in Starfleet." And he's like, "Yeah, work it out." So she's also saying, "I'm not good for this." And in fairness, she does fail, or at least she gives up before she does fail. So she is the wrong person for the mission in the very specific context of what she's trying to do. And yeah, so it's kind of effective in its own way. Same outcome, but the route there is much cleverer, rather than just her being amazing and doing it.
And then we get the Leonard Nimoy appearance.
Yeah.
Which, how is it recorded? Whatever. Comm badges, whatever. Extrapolation based on holographic image. Who cares?
It's filmed in a cave.
Yeah.
with 2 guys and comm badges. It's kind of hard to film. Yeah, it's a weird one.
C. Riker throws in $5. Calypso Disco could still be the Discovery A if they use programmable matter to disguise the exterior of the ship. Hey, that's a great idea. Sure. I would totally buy that too.
Yeah.
But yeah, here we get the access to personal files of Admiral Jean-Luc Picard mentioned. And we get his little speech from Unification. Yeah.
Oh, that's good. They got it from Robert Picard's memories. That's fun. That's actually a fair point. He's a humanoid synth now. They can probably download his brain. Yeah.
Spoilers.
No, that's a good clap. So by killing Picard, they got this clip.
Oh. And I love how she's like, in the whole year I've been here, I've never let myself look back to find out who he became. And then Book's like, you guys are chronic overachievers. I love it. That's great.
If you point it out, it does make it better. It's like the show knows they're absurd. And I was so thrilled at this because not only did I have a feeling, but I called it. And this was a real shoot in the dark. Like they've never done this before. It's the first time I've actually shown canon, and not just a face, a full. And they let this clip play. They let Leonard Nimoy act, and it was like, oh my god, brilliant.
It's Leonard Nimoy is the linchpin between all the universes. The Kelvin, this one. I know it's Prime, but whatever. Salter 1701 throws in £10 with no comment, but thank you very much. Love your screen name as well.
But this was great. I mean, this was really, really, really good in every way, and the fact they gave it just time, and I like her acting as well. It was super, because I was really worried it was going to be Ethan Peck in makeup, and you'd be like, ugh. But it was this is what it should be, and therefore it is.
Well, the lead up to this scene and the walk down the corridor was the flashback to Ethan Peck, where she gives him the last little bit of advice, to make him the Spock that we all know and love, and because she's the responsible for all that 50 years of Spock. Andre Aguirre, I guess. I'm sorry if I pronounced that wrong. $5. Hello, Captain and Commander. Have you addressed the Calypso does not have a new upgrades of Discovery? Yes. We have already addressed this. We'll probably do a live, maybe speculating on it at some point, depending on how the season plays out. But yes, we have.
In short, it could easily be just retconned because they hadn't had that plan at the time. They could have actually built a second ship with replicatable matter, and there is the original classic and the refit. or is changed again before in time, or is an alternate timeline. So many options, but the fact is, it's just like Scotty in like I said before, in Generations versus Relics. It's a canon mistake because they hadn't filmed one yet. So that how could they know? You know, they couldn't. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh, then we get the scene that as soon as I saw the pan up over the table and I see Saru and Tilly, I'm like, nope, no, don't do this, don't. But yeah,
It's
the
like a
whole
shark.
conversation.
Da-da, da-da.
Yeah.
Ensign promotion, ensign. Oh, you didn't bother promoting her. You know, not even one rank. You know.
Yeah. Well,
And please
he
read
says,
some
I
dialogue.
want you to be my
here,
first
yeah,
officer.
this is important. Sorry.
Oh, absolutely. I would like you to serve as my acting first officer until I find a permanent replacement. Great. And she's like, what? I've never completed the command training program. You traveled through a wormhole 930 years into the future. I am confident in saying your experience now exceeds the parameters designed for the command training program. Okay, but what about all those people that actually completed the command training program and have been serving and gone through the ranks and are now like lieutenants and or higher and are serving on the ship that also went through the 930-year-old wormhole? They would have more experience than me. Yes? Okay, good, because I was lost there.
Well, I think the problem is the writers can't justify it realistically, so they basically did anything they could. Because there's not a really good justification. All I could see him really saying, like if I was him, I would say, look, you want to be a captain one day. I know this. You're a really lovely person and you believe in the Federation. I know I can trust you, and I know you will put the ship above me, above you, and while you may not have the qualifications of anybody else on the ship, literally anybody else, you're the lowest ranking person on the ship, even Jean outranks you by half a rank. Thank you. You have your team here. Use your team. Because that would have been nice if the best captain knows how to use his team. You know? Because remember, Saru's only been captain for 3.5 weeks. He's also he's an inexperienced captain. But there's also kind of favoritism. She's one of his favorite people on the ship. So it's like hiring your best friend for a job when she's an intern. It's like, well, it's because you really like her. She's not qualified. She shouldn't do the job. She's not ready for it. But you want to work with her. So it's a really, really bad thing, but whatever. You know.
Well, she goes on to say, I would be responsible for lives.
Good acting, though, to be fair. Good acting.
Says, the acting's great here. He says, part of leadership is the acknowledgement that one is suited to it. Many members of our crew have struggled with all that has changed. I have watched you rise to the occasion. I believe you can help them rise as well. But she's dealing with this better than everybody else? I don't buy that for a second.
And the problem is you can't just have... Yes, last week she made one right choice.
Yeah.
That does not generate the... Yes! Like, if you're going to set up in many episodes, you know? The one before means it's lazy writing, and they didn't know it was... Yeah, it's frustrating.
He says, I believe you will always put the needs of Starfleet and the Federation ahead of your own wishes. And then she says, are you asking me because I'm qualified or because I'm compliant?
The second.
Because I'm asking because I believe this is in the best interest of this ship. He goes, take a day to think about it. Let's jump to Navarre.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It just doesn't. Yeah. But it will create some interesting drama. You know, Stamets knows better, and yet he has to follow her orders. And if we don't get scenes, but the thing is, when we have with Captain Killy, she kind of like gave orders confidently. Maybe there's a sense of like a gut reaction, but I wouldn't want her as a captain. Like nothing I've seen in Tilly makes me think she's anywhere close to being a captain. Like maybe in her 50s or 60s, but she's absolutely not qualified or the sort of personality to be a captain. You know, maybe with a science ship, maybe when she's old, maybe second in command, but she's not captain material. Not as she's been presented.
She needs to be tempered with,
But temporary. Remember, she's temporary. So I wouldn't think more than 3 episodes. By the end of the season, she won't be.
Then we get the shot of the Discovery leaving. and we get a really cool shot of the spore jump. It has a spinny inner part and a spinny outer part, but the nacelles lock onto the ship before the jump.
Wonderfully subtle, great attention to detail.
Yes.
And we will discuss this at a later date, but yes, just so you guys do know, we did detach.
Yes. The Shaw set redemption throws in $2.
Thank you.
Vance's reaction to Tilly could be entertaining.
Oh, absolutely. That's a good point.
I can't wait to, the next one's going to start with a, you did what? She's just a new ensign. Her psych evaluation and her debriefing showed that she's not confident in the least.
Wouldn't it be great? It's like, so Mr. Saru, you picked to be your new captain, the least qualified person in your crew. Yes.
You're demoted.
Tilly! But now, oh no, I made Tilly captain by default. Oh shit! I didn't think of my actions. But speaking of actions, little kudos to the art team who made these little, who cares, defense platforms, but they do use original TNG Romulan sounds.
Mm-hmm.
For whatever reason, like, good job. They don't look Vulcan Romulan or anything, but it doesn't matter. They work. I wish there'd been some Vulcan ships, though. That would have been nice. But, they spore in, and
Discovery looks copper still. Whatever.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Jarazia, $5. Sam understands the pain of being the lowest ranked member of the team. Also, if Burnham had stayed out of Starfleet uniform, it had fixed so many problems. Yeah, absolutely. And Sam is the commander, for Christ. We got all the moderators and admins are all lower ranked than him. Come on now.
Yeah. But speaking of uniform, though, these are official representatives of the Federation to Navarre after 100 years.
Oh, sure.
Why are there no diplomats on board, like he mentions? Why is there not a single person from the future here to help them?
Yep.
And why are they not in the new uniforms? Because imagine this president being like, so they sent me an antiquated ship with a crew that do not know this part of the timeline and uniforms that are antiquated. What am I meant to think here? You're not saying your best or anything. Like, what an absurd thing. Like I know these are our heroes, but I would not be happy if this thing came to me. Are you really trusting this crew that you don't know, that you've known for several weeks? Like, put your own damn second in command in, Vance. That's his name. It's weird. Why is no one from the future on this ship? If this is the most important asset in the entire Federation, you need your own people on the ship. Every one of them are more qualified than everyone on this ship. That's insanity.
Speaking of being more qualified, Brian Harvard puts in $2 and said, Sam is a more qualified XO.
Probably. Yeah.
Absolutely.
But speaking of qualified, excellent casting for the captain, excellent costume, excellent performance, excellent dialogue, and beautiful, as of a thumbnail, view screen, moon, gorgeous composition, nothing but positive. And I really enjoy this.
Vulcan has no moon.
Except when it does.
But Tavar does. Yeah. And Vulcan when it does. Watch Major Grin.
Yeah. It's
anyway,
a whole
sorry.
But yeah, I love this scene. I think it's great, and I love the back and forth. I love the balance. It's just great. Yeah, brilliant.
So we meet Tirana, who's president of Navarre. And yeah, it's the whole thing. We were told you were coming. Your unique propulsion system, is that how you evaded our long-range sensors? Well, we didn't evade them per se. We just, jumped in, which was good. It's already like you're just appearing on our doorstep, which later I got to say is jarring as hell and very disconcerting. Is when they transport on board. All four of them, it's like sump, 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 and they're all like walking towards you right away instantly. It's like, whoa, that's a little harsh with the transporting there, guys. But anyway. Yeah, so she talks about the SB-19 and how that's kind of a sticky spot here. It's good to see Spock's sister. That's all great and all that. But we've done a lot of work here, and, giving you that information, since it's sensitive, might cause some issues on the planet. So we're going to deny you that, anything related to the SB-19. But yeah, we've found new evidence for the burn. And that information can help us with that. Too bad you can't have it. So either you stop asking,
Mm-hmm.
or I'm going to see that flashy new Spore drive of yours just leaving. And then she's like, "Oh, do you still?"
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Where is this here? I got to find it.
Hold on. Marvin says, guys, it's new Vulcans. They remember 2009 Star Trek? Yes. 2009 Star Trek took place in an alternate timeline, Marvin. This is the prime timeline where Vulcan was not destroyed. You know that.
Yes. Yes, this is Vulcan. Anyway, yes. So do your people still honor any of the old ways, specifically in matters of scientific inquiry? Yes. Then as a graduate of the Vulcan Science Academy, I respectfully invoke Ket. And instantly the president's like, well, shit. Fine, I'll get a quorum together and we'll talk about it. Boom, and she's gone. And then Sarah's like, you're not even my number one and you're still fucking things up.
Yeah.
Like, what? Talk to me first, for the love of God.
Well, he's very diplomatic, too much, I would say. But yeah, it's still there. But yeah, certainly.
Yes. Anyway, so yeah, she has to prove her scientific premise. And he's like, are you prepared to do that? And she says, yes.
And we instantly can feel, she's like, yeah, yep. She's not confident, which I liked.
Yeah.
And this would be a great time to talk to our bridge crew. Give them a few seconds.
No. Then we get the very dramatic beaming in while walking towards you. And it's very thump, thump, thump. It's like scary, man. Don't do that shit.
But in the transporter room, which I think is more a respect thing, because the Madam President has a personal transporter, so I think it's just more like this is a good to have a certain embarkation and demarcation point. And yeah, another good scene. I like these guys. I like the casting here. Clearly Vulcan, clearly Romulan, different enough. Yeah.
And Sarah's like, do you want a tour? And she's like, you can forgo with the niceties. Your commander has already diplomatically forced me into a corner.
Yeah.
It's like, well, she's not really my commander. She's a commander. You should meet my real number. TL8.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway. No, very well done.
Great tone, yeah.
And then the whole your advocate's going to be beaming in. She's taken quite an interest in your case. I'm sure you'll be interested to see who she is as well. But she's from the Kuat Malat. And it's like, okay, doubling down. This is connected to the Picard universe for sure.
But this makes more sense. This is more organic. I had no problem with this. Yep. If it was the Jack Vash, and I thought he said Jack Vash, I was like, how does that make sense? The anti-robot people are here. No. This side makes sense.
So absolute candor is explained again, which is really nice. And anyway, so then she beams in and lists her thing, and I'm like, who is that? I don't recognize her. Oh, it's her mom. Okay. And I'm still like, what the hell happened? How did this become a thing?
Yeah.
Sure that it was her mom at first. I'm like, is this some kind of trick? Is this some kind of test? Like, what is this? What's going on here?
Well, I mean, there's no way she's in this timeline, so how could it be the mum?
I didn't think about that till we did our video on it, but you're absolutely right. And guys, if you want to check out that video down the road, check it out because it's very interesting.
And we'll get there in a minute when she starts talking about it. But it is very strange for people who've been actually following the Discovery story. You're like, who is it of all people? Honestly, I was expecting a descendant of Amanda.
I was too. I was expecting something like that. Yes.
Yeah, something nice and simple. Like I've always wanted to meet on Amanda's children, etc. I don't know.
A descendant of Cybok. My brother, my crazy brother. What?
Yeah, actually, that would.
They never mention him. They never mention him.
And he should be there. That'd actually be great. Actually, yeah, I'm Cybok's. Wait, the one from the attic. The chained one. So it is very strange. We'll get there in a minute, guys. But it is. I was waiting for it to appear. I knew they were gonna fuck with the timeline. So I was not surprised. But I like the scenes overall. So and in fact, yeah, the discussion between these two, back to the president and Saru, they give a lot of time to them, and I'll give them all the credit in the world. Good job for them.
Yeah. And Circe says, so the Vulcans have the time suit, Trekyards?
No colonists do.
That's all. Watch the video that we have coming out. Bryant Fuller throws in $10.
Super generous today.
in Burnham's defense, she didn't want to do it in the first place, and I guess it was just a split-second decision to invoke that right. Maybe they wouldn't have had time to sidebar. I agree, but you could have said, okay, we'll drop it for now. We'll come down and see the planet, and then have talk to him and say, look, I can do this. I can invoke this, and then they'll have no alternative. But then she wasn't necessarily sure that they still followed the old ways as well. There'd be, there's other ways to go about it, I guess, but.
Yeah, all that would have happened. It's so close to being good, as in makes sense. She'd have Saru, after she says it, be like, excuse me? Have you just jeopardized the entire crew again? Or something like that. She's like, no, this is this. And he's like, this is why I had to remove you as my second in command. You are not to make decisions that affect both this ship, this crew, and the entire Federation. You do not have the authority to make these decisions, Commander Burnham. I am here to make the decisions for you. Like, you need that.
But the problem is, his thing that he said in the last episode was, you're confined to scientific... I forget her role, head science officer. Yeah. And this is scientifically, she has to prove that. So she would have used that argument as. But it is I think scientifically decision, I can prove though. This. Yes, I know.
I get that. Oh.
Jarzia, $5. I take those moons to be either planets or just without an understanding of how far apart planetary bodies are in reality. Been done a million times. Yes, I guess, but
Stuart, remember Delta Vega is a moon of Vulcan.
Oh no, and it's an ice moon too, even though it's on the outer rim of like the explored space and TOS. And...
Even though, why would a ice moon be next to a desert planet? Visible distance.
Yin and yang, man. Yin and yang.
But speaking of yin and yang, there may be someone called Ying and maybe someone called Yang watching us. We have 425 people watching this week, which is absolutely incredible. We are so happy you guys are joining us. It's a great community, great discussion. I'm loving the chat. I would like to see some more likes. So we're at 227. I want to see 300. And I'm going to quickly get a glass of water while you guys... So I'll let you talk about this scene, Stuart, and I'll jump in. But 423, amazing. 300 likes. Go!
Okay. And remember to be subscribed, guys. If you're not subscribed, click the subscribe button, then click the like button. Yes, please consider clicking that like button and or joining the channel. Always great stuff. And Eugene, I'll get to your super chat as soon as Samuel gets back. I'll wait till he gets back. That's kind of funny. But yeah, this scene with her and Saru is pretty interesting. Saru wants to get some information from her. And basically, he explains that the ship, he actually gives the explanation why they made it the NCC 1031A, because the events of them appearing could be polarizing, given the temporal accords. So there was no other way to explain it to you that this was Spock's sister than to let you in on the facts. So I kind of like that. That's been a big sticky point for people, why the refit of the Discovery was an A when it was not a new ship. But we've talked about that quite a bit. So, and the Vulcan president is, I'm surprised that your crew took on the responsibility of saving the future and coming through time. And he's like, well, duty called. We had to do what was needed of us.
And Stuart, we get 300 as I sit down.
Yes.
Super duper.
Awesome. Well, we have 415 though, so we can hit 400 likes easily, guys. Hit like if you haven't. Eugene, though, puts in 100 rubles. As a graduate of Vulcan Science Academy, I respectfully demand a trial by combat. And I was just saying here when you were gone that he actually gives her the explanation as to why they call it the NCC 7 or 1031A here, by saying, he says it was quite controversial. Okay, what's he put? I'll do it exactly like he says. The Admiral was concerned that it would be quite polarizing given the temporal accords. Yet there was no other way to explain to you the presence of Spock's sister. And one of the things that we said for the A was the fact that, yes, Discovery was reported destroyed in 2258. And since time travel is kind of an illegal thing right now, best to make the new ship not be the same ship that was apparently destroyed 900 years ago. So,
well, I didn't have it all from it. I took it as him saying we had to let you in that we're from the past.
Yes,
that's the only way. Nothing to do with the ship at all. Just us.
Well, but that explains why the A is there without saying that's why the A is there.
But
Because
why
it
are
would
they
be
wearing
quite
the uniforms
polarizing.
though?
That's the thing I don't know. See, don't get me started on that because there's no explanation for it.
And why do the
There's no
insides look like a museum?
there's no good
If you can
explanation.
change everything about the ship, the inside should be different and the uniform should be different.
Yeah.
Sorry. But, Stuart, we're once again at this corridor and this damn window.
It's a nice window.
It's great. I have nothing against it. It's just weird. Somebody loves this part of the set.
Best window on the ship.
It is. Hi, I'm Commander Shep, and this is the best window on Discovery. You'll get that reference one day. I love this conversation. There's so much texture here. You know she's going to come back. You know Vulcans are going to come back. Because there's two meatier conversations that have serious season repercussions. And Saru is great here. And their chemistry, for what it is, I think is really good here. If you want to read some of the lines.
Well, he says, the Federation feels the loss of Navarre deeply. Hope that our visit and our discussions with you can open new channels of diplomacy. She's like, that would require far more than one visit, Captain. There have been numerous issues. SB-19 was merely the final blow. He's like, well, I'd like to hear about them.
And she's so surprised. I love it. She's like, oh, you're not like the Starfleet guys I've met when I was in my 20s, I guess. Because she could be, she could be alive pre-burn. I mean, that's fine.
James Fagan, though, $5. Really digging Admiral Vance. Hope he doesn't go evil. Seems to be logical and level-headed so far. Good actor, too. Fantastic actor, fantastic character. And yes, if he's evil, I riot because that's bullshit. And speaking of rioting, poor Sahil. Go rescue that bastard or give him some people or bring him back just for an episode.
Or at least
so
give him a Discovery shuttle. Give him one bit of cool tech.
Just let us know that he's fine. Have him on screen saying the repair of the station is going well. Thank you. And have him in a uniform.
Yeah.
Anyway, I got to go to the washroom. I'll be right back.
No, 100%. He was so good in his 12 seconds. Disappointing. But then I can go into the scene. So this scene is wet and we'll do a video on it. Don't worry. Michael Burnham's mum. Whole confusing thing about her. And they just quickly gloss over the lack of logic in this. So, briefly, the last time we see her was in the episode where we reveal the Red Angel in Season 2. We reveal it's her. We reveal that she's been changing time. She's watched Michael die 100, 200 times. She keeps going back to try and change things. Anything she can to stop Control, who's already in the past at this point, change the future. Anyway, poorly thought out season. Moving on. The thing is that when she travelled back, she was pulled back by the Red Angel wormhole. She was pulled back from Terralicium, explicitly Terralicium, which is where she started, to this planet, which is called, and I did save its name, Epoch Nor, something like that. Epoch 4. No, that's a different thing. It is called... Oh, it's my other thing.
Should I read a super chat while you're doing a thing?
Yes.
Jarzia, $2. Did you guys catch the Anton Yelchin tribute? Yes, I did.
Yep.
Mentioned twice in space of like a minute and a half.
But yeah, so she lands. She says, "No, I landed right back on ESOC 4, which is where the experiment was to kill Burnham and get her there." So guys, this is the amount of for some reasons. For some reason, Michael Burnham's mum survived traveling through a time wormhole without her suit. For some reason, unharmed. For some reason, the time suit, which was explicitly tethered back to the past 950 years at Terralicium, didn't take her back there. Instead, took her to the same location on ESOC 4. Who the hell knows when at that point? For some reason. No idea why. That planet was now colonized for some reason. Those colonists found her with a non-working time suit but started unlimited processing power and decided to take her to Vulcan, otherwise known as Navarre, for some reason, well past the burn, where dilithium is a very, very fragile circumstance, and for some reason settlers chose to take her there. Now, if she bartered the suit away, then they gave a time suit, without time travel, but with all the pieces able to do time travel, to settlers of a random planet, and then got back to Vulcan an unknown time, and then spent an unknown number of years at Vulcan for some reason, not waiting for Burnham, because she had no reason to think Burnham would go into the future, because at that point, they were putting control information into the suit, which failed, and she went back in time. She had no idea she was going to do that. And yet the way she plays it is, oh my God, Michael, it's so good to see you. I've been your mother for the last 20 years, despite Burnham only having met her 3 times in 20 years, one day of which she was aggressive towards her, and then she lost her, and she lost her when she was 7. And yet in this scene, they're buddy-buddy, they're friendly. There's no conversation about how they felt, about Control even. What happened with Control? Like, she doesn't even mention about, obviously the universe hasn't been destroyed. Fine. But she should have ended up in the timeline of Control because she was being piggybacked into the future and on a different planet. And so everything about the character is contrived and doesn't make sense. It's and they skim right over it. Luckily, she's not in it very much, and she's good in it. But she should be in the Control timeline and in the Beta Quadrant on that. So yeah. Not so good.
And it's way past its prime now, but Tenchi 2K7, $5. Damn it, Commander. I was just about to type, I'm Commander Shepard, and this is my favorite window on Discovery.
Woo!
So you totally took the bite out of his comment by... That's okay. But yeah, this whole, hi, Mom. Well, you seem like you're lost. I can tell already. What?
Even though I haven't seen you in 20 years, except for one day.
Yeah, just drop the pretense of like caring about each other. Because
although the only difference is that she did watch Michael in the time suit and watch her die and watch her live, but Michael hasn't seen her, so she does know. That's why. How else would she know about Giorgio and stuff? Remember, Michael Burnham got like erased from the records, so
that's another interesting point. She brings up, did you not have Philippa Giorgio die in front of you? Well, the rest of the crew back there doesn't really know that, but yes. That's brought up later, right in front of everybody, in an official tribunal thing. So that lady that's on board that says she's Captain Giorgio, that's
shit! Didn't even think about that.
Yep.
Oh, I didn't think about that. So on the record, she's been now outed.
Yep.
Oh,
we knew that some of the bridge crew might have known about it, obviously, but not everybody.
And not, well, it's not just that, the Vulcans and Romulans now know. Not that they care, but that's an official outing. Wow. Didn't even think. And how does she know? Yeah, why isn't the mum? Although no, to be fair, the mum doesn't know there's a mirror universe version of the ship, so she does not know.
No, she could have. She just put it the timeline she saw or whatever.
See, now you needed a scene where she's walking to the transport room, and then Giorgio walks past her. She's like, "But you were in his teeth. What? Did you travel back in time to save her? No. What? That'd been a good
story. We don't have time.
That'd be a deleted scene. Oh no! She does no. She does know she's Mirror because she met Mirror Giorgio in the past, but she doesn't know she's on Discovery now. How could she? But she does know there's a Mirror Giorgio in this timeline because she talked to her and she said, "I've watched you die for your daughter a few times."
Okay.
Yeah, they really screwed the pooch with their time travel stuff with season 2. They explicitly talked about how time is fluid, and the fact that the mum can go back and change time many hundreds of times to see what happens means that they could easily go back now and change time to stop the burn. Like, the fact that they stopped Control proves they can stop the burn by going back in time. There's no like, the season 2 is that plot, so do it, you know.
But anyway, the Kuatmalat helped her, and then she decided to join them. So, don't know how long that's been. I mean, how long has she been part of the Kuatmalat? We don't know. But
30 years is the most, because 950 to 980 years. But that's assuming that she didn't spend any years trying to fight Control. I would have said about 15 if I was going to be a betting man. She spent 15 years trying or 10 years trying. But she also hasn't aged a day. So, yeah.
I love how Burnham's like, with your help, I can convince them, or we can convince them to give us the SB19 data. And her mom's like, yeah, that's funny. You won't convince them.
Yeah.
The Kuatmalat bind themselves to lost causes. And right now, there's no cause more lost than yours.
See, once you ignore the fact that she shouldn't be in this timeline, she's actually really good in it.
Yes.
And
true.
A complete character reboot from season 2. Like, if you watch them side by side, not remotely the same. But she is great. And she wears... Her just truthfulness means, I said to you earlier, she puts her heart on her sleeve, and it's rather refreshing, actually, especially with Burnham, who is quite a deceiving person. She's very, it's actually quite good counterbalance.
Yeah. And we get introduced to the guys. We got Niraj, who's the Romulan elder.
Yep.
Who longs for who longs for greater self-governance.
Mm-hmm.
We got Vakir, who's the young leader of a sect of Vulcan purists, and Shira, He-Man's sister, who speaks for the Romulo the in between, you know. And honestly, the Romulan was the friendliest looking one out of all of them.
Yeah. But he can show his emotions the most. Because it's fun, yeah. He's the most Romulan. Vulcan's very Vulcan-y, and the other one is Romulan, but she obviously is interbred with the Vulcans, so they kind of she's more muted but more emotion. The nuance of all three is a great three. I give them all credit. Like, they're not the best casting, but they fit the roles very well. And like I said to you earlier, like, I appreciate that you have to go for the TNG looking Romulans, just to have a little bit of differentiation. I know the haircuts are a difference. Like, Romulans don't have to have a clean haircut, sure. But I think ridges really help in this context, even though the interbreeding will be hundreds of years worth of interbreeding. But it's a good three. I like the interplay here. It's fun.
Yeah, and we got more with the President and Saru, because this is where we find out that basically the sheer size of the Federation made dilithium a valuable resource that was getting rare. And to solve the problem, they stretched member worlds beyond capacity and comfort in its desire to serve the many. The Federation ignored the needs of the few. And Saru was like, didn't your ancestors coin that phrase? But I love her explanation. When the people of Vulcan welcomed the Romulans home, we were forced to confront centuries of mistrust and brutality on both sides. Over time, and with much effort, we earned the wisdom to know when to let go of maxims and proverbs. So, yes, the Federation was still doing the right thing for all of the Federation, but at the cost of planets, probably. So millions upon billions of lives, even though those are the few. I can see the point of view, from a certain point of view, how the needs of the many, that maxim wouldn't be appropriate anymore, because you're still letting entire planets suffer to take care of the whole of the Federation, which is now too large. So, yeah.
And what's interesting about the idea of the needs of the many thing, it is a useful adage sort of 8 times out of 10.
Yep.
But
there's always exceptions, though.
Yeah. I mean, the whole point about Spock in the films is that those adages aren't always it. And this is the President saying it. So it's just elegantly handled. It is, and the Federation, and it's another layer to the idea of the dilithium, because we both call out very early on what doesn't make sense, and this factors into the makes sense category. Federation is so big, every planet wants dilithium to be warp capable, every warp capable species wants multiple ships, each warp capable ship needs more dilithium the more you go, and it's exponential, and some races just trade ships and tech to other races, they don't care, Ferengi, etc. Here's warp capable ships. And with only a certain amount of source, it's like oil, obviously, like oil. It can only be created at a certain rate. It's a finite resource. And if you've now got trillions of ships and more being produced every second, I mean, it's a natural point of diminishing numbers, and it reached 3,000 years. That's fine, that's a lot of time. I like it. It's a good scene, and we're gonna get some Vulcan politics in season 4. It's good. I'm excited.
Then we get the whole trial thing, or trial, whatever the hell it is. I love how the thing that they hit the gong with is basically a doomsday machine. I thought that was funny. Yeah. Tell me it's not. Look at it and tell me it's not. Come on. You can't. I know. Yeah. Joshua Clark puts in $5. The Vulcan has a Tuvok vibe to him. Oh, yes, for sure. The Vulcan purist guy. Yeah.
With a bit of grump. But I get why as well, because the first thing he says is, "And as the leader of the council, I want to instantly."
We saw the evidence. We're done.
Which, in all fairness, though, if you're given the evidence beforehand and see it and think it's not good enough, like, what more can you say? You've presented all the facts. The facts do not back you up. What more is there to say? So there is logic in that. It's just he wants it done. So I like. It's a very, very long sequence, and I would like to edit this out and see without the cutaways, how long is it? I would not think 15 minutes probably. But it's good. It's a good sequence, as long as it is.
One of them asks, Here it is. How long has the Federation had evidence of this?
Good line.
And
Yep.
the Romulan guy says a great deal of suffering may have been avoided.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, I just uncovered it, the last little bit of evidence a few days ago,
It's a good
which
question,
I
though.
love. It's not like we've
Yeah.
been sitting on it for 4 years and this finally decided to come out here. But
And I wouldn't have even thought of written that, but that's a really good question. Because obviously they want to find anything at fault with the Federation, but no, it's the opposite. We came to you straight away.
Yeah.
We were here within a day. You know. Yeah. That's good.
And then the one guy says, yeah, well, you're correlating the burn destruction with timestamps on 3 different starships and minute changes. And he says across thousands of light years, those numbers could have been skewed for hosts of reasons.
I said.
And she says, well, we have accounted for subatomic lensing, which I think covers basically what he's saying. Anyway, it's just a great back and forth here, like her small sample size and da-da-da-da. But the whole we need to share data in order to make the proper conclusion is the correct thing for her to say. But then the whole thing immediately is the data is sensitive in nature.
Mm-hmm.
We cannot risk it falling into the wrong hands, which makes them look even guiltier that they did cause the burn. They're sure they did. But later it's kind of sussed out that they don't want the information to get back in the hands of the Federation because the Federation is just going to continue the SB-19 research to be able to go have an FTL drive. And really, I would have said at this point, do they really need that? How did we get here? We have the Spore drive. It's a new technology that does the same thing, but with no risk of causing anything similar. That's what I would have said personally. But I love that was brought up, that we don't want the Federation using it. That's why they're so reluctant to hand over the information, because the Federation was all about itself and taking care of its concerns, which is the entirety of the Federation, so much so that they ordered planets to continue the research to find a faster than light drive without dilithium. And it goes back to what Admiral Vance said earlier. They blame us for forcing them to cause the burn. It's actually very well nuanced. So I thought that was actually fantastic.
And it's a different way of handling it. I think any of us would have thought too. We are right about the Spore drive, but obviously since they don't know how it functions, it could be a one-off, could be not replicatable, could be limited fuel. Whereas
they said to the president, we jumped the mycelial network. She's like, yeah, we were briefed.
Yeah, but she doesn't necessarily know what that means. Like,
well, she's a Vulcan. Of course, she knows what it means.
But she's a politician, not a scientist.
She's still a Vulcan.
She is, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah. Saru was not as good as anyway. But yeah, I mean, obviously, I'm so excited to see I hope it's a good payoff, because there's so much to tell with this, and I wouldn't even be surprised actually if this SP9, it was found that it couldn't just FTL, it could go to alternate universes, there's time travel again, like it was actually a trans-dimensional gateway. Because that'd be interesting if you go to alternate universes, and maybe yeah. Because if it's that simple, if it's an easy gateway to both space and locate an universe, then they thought the Federation may, in their desperation, steal dilithium from other universes, and that might screw up them. So there's a lot that could go there. But that said, though, if that being the case, the neutral lady wouldn't have wanted to give the information away, so it can't be that bad.
Well.
But why that dangerous? What could that be?
Yeah, well, the whole back and forth here, they're actually starting to fight about the further unrests that have been caused by the Romulan Vulcan regions and all this, which is really interesting. And then she speaks up and says, my brother would have found it illogical to sacrifice knowledge to avoid risk.
And he calls her out hard.
Yep. She evokes her own brother in an obvious effort to win us to her cause through emotional appeal.
What a great comeback. It's like, yeah.
You can't name drop, bitch.
Nope. Because that is her one. Because the thing is, she's lost. She's lost before she started, and so all she has a couple of cards to play. Things are not good enough. Yeah. I'm all for it. I'm all for it, actually. So it's a well done thing.
This is where the Romulan speaks up and says, if there's even a chance that we aren't responsible for the burn, we must join the investigation and share evidence. And they kind of have a bickering back and forth as to what the motives are for the Federation. If it's just a ploy to get the information, it's actually really well handled. And this is like well-written dialogue and well-delivered. So this is a part of this episode I really appreciate.
And this is where bottle show, one scene, well lit, well acted, what good characters is better than action beats. And this is where the meat and potatoes really is. And it's fun that the Romulans being presented here as being far more, deal withable. But I mean, the Vulcans are always more stubborn, always more stubborn. And I can imagine it was always on the Vulcans to make it work, Yeah. Although you get a weird moment when he says, and how many resources do we have to use to quell disorder in your sections? It's like, ooh, did you send Vulcan troops in to break up Vulcan and Romulan people fighting? That's okay.
Yep. No, that was good. Showing that not everything's perfect. And later it kind of comes to the surface even more. But we'll get there soon.
But also it does, they do say though, that's post-burn it got worse. So it was good for a couple of hundred years. Like it got to a good place.
Yeah.
Then the universe got fucked. And now we've been trying to rebuild. So I appreciate it wasn't, because I couldn't buy, like, we came together in the 2700s and we've been killing each other for that many years. No, they created something good. But the world changed.
Xerxes 2005 says Vulcans are smug and Romulans are arrogant. Yep. And those two butt heads because they don't want to admit that either one of them is wrong. So
and Romulans lie and Vulcans hide the truth if it's not important.
Yes.
Now it's hard to summarize all of this because they just keep going, so we'll just kind of burn through the screen caps and see what's next, and we'll find the points we need to. But that's a good
the next
summary.
one. Yeah, that's just for that section. We're gonna have a little bit more later, but that's okay. Because now we're on to Tilly and Stamets and the whole. Sarah offered me the first officer position, and he's like, she says I'd be, let's see, what does she say here? So that would make me your superior officer, but position only, not rank. And he's like, well, the thought of taking orders from you is weird. And this is where she's got this crisis, and I do like that this was brought up. Most of this crew has more experience than me, so I'm not sure whether I want to do this. I'm just wondering, what you'd think about it, because she's unsure what to do in this situation.
Well, he's her division head. He's the guy she deals with every day.
Yep, he's her direct boss. Yes.
Yeah, which is why it's funny.
Yeah.
I love remind me the guy's name again.
Hey, Christopher Dahl. Christopher Dahl is here. He's a talented artist, and good to see him.
Hey.
So hello.
Paul Stamets' real name is Anthony Rapp. There you go. I love his over-the-top acting here. But it's so in character. It's like, huh? Great faces, because this is the audience scene.
Yeah, it's like, sorry, did what?
It's like you're literally the last person of the 74 people on the ship I would call on. No offense. Oh, none taken. But this is why the decision is more palatable, because they point out how stupid it is. But there's a reason, And the scene is so short, it's just to show how silly it is.
And it ends with kind of an awkward, like, Washington's like, so what's going on? He's like, just tell Detmer, just relax. We'll be ready to jump when we're ready.
Ooh.
And then she goes, well, I think I'll leave. And she just ducks out and leaves him like, I didn't answer her questions. Shit. I love that he takes care of her in a way. By telling everybody else later. Yeah.
Although I think I like though. It's like we're really gonna keep putting on the Detmer Stamets. Really, we're gonna keep going on with that, and you can tell Washington's like, I don't like Stamets compared to the other one. I know people complaining, as I heard them say, about how they went into a vacuum, a soundproof cube, and then they heard people. Yeah. But that's not. Though it's not. It's never been addressed as a soundproof cube, because you know how Lorca can talk to Burnham in episode 4, but it's that's not the point. But she was it was a private place, or more private. But I mean, I didn't take it as I want to talk to you without anyone hearing.
It's more private, and yet not at all, because they're in a box that's shrouded in light in the middle of the room.
That is the highlight of the room.
That shouldn't be in unless it's being used. So why are they in there? Oh, I'm paying more attention now. Just pull them to the corner in the dark.
What are they talking about? Yeah, in the chamber. Yeah, but I think also it's making him feel more comfortable, because that's kind of his space. Like, this is where he's in charge.
Yes.
But also it's to use a different set.
SP847256 puts in $3 with no comment. But thank you very much. Very much appreciated.
Then we get a lovely bit of pre-betrayal.
It's tell
me your deepest, darkest secrets, daughter, and I won't betray you. You won't? I won't. Excellent. And but it works better as a second viewing when you know that she's doing her job, but you don't realize it.
Yeah. No, at first you're like, what the hell is happening? And then once the truth comes out and the look of like smug satisfaction on the mom's face, like, yep, that's what she needed, was really great.
Because this is her fourth conversation with her daughter in 20 years. She doesn't know this woman. Oh dear.
Yeah. She goes, "You're Kuatmalat. You're my mother. Tell them that I can be trusted." And she says, "Based on what you're telling me right now, you cannot be trusted."
Drop.
Yep. And so Michael just walks into the room, and it's so well done here. The fact that she stumbles, like I've don't know what to say, and then all of a sudden her mom just lays down the smackdown on her about she hasn't been telling the truth, and the look from Burnham could like melt steel. Like, shut up, mother. So well acted here. This is also great to see Michael kind of put in her place.
Well, and the fact is, she can't be trusted. You know, that's one of the biggest points. Last week, or almost every episode, she abandons the chain of command, and she is not trustable. So, that's
where this is brought up. Like, you had Giorgio killed because you mutinied, and she got killed as a result. Again, in front of the entire. I hear that now. So
yeah.
Anyway.
So I just it's great when you can call it out, and that makes this episode better because she is not unflawed. She is very flawed, and everyone keeps calling her out because she does really silly things, but she just gets the job done in the end. We get back to the trial. I like her walk in and being emotional. She's like, I'm just gonna talk, but I know why, but they're doing all these close-ups to make us not really think about it just being the mess hall set, and kind of keep it feeling different. It works, but when you take out that middle Tilly scene, it feels like one continuous shooting day that they didn't ever move the camera because everyone's at the same angle, especially with the three advocates. Like, it's the same exact. It would have been nice to do something slightly different for the second half because they don't even move. They're all in the exact same position. So you think, well, they didn't move. They just stood there for 7 minutes, weren't they? Small thing, but the scene is very long. Luckily, it's really good dialogue, but it is could have had a bit more something.
Well, yeah, there's some good stuff here for sure. Like, why does this quorum? Why does anyone here have any reason to trust you or the Federation? Distinguished peers, let me speak the truth to you because she is unable to. Basically, that I orphaned her when she was a child. She may have grown up on Vulcan, but she was never from here. Trust me, she is human through and through. She's been governed by emotion. She desires to insinuate herself into certain matters of import to fill an emotional void. God damn, it's awesome. And that void was used by the Federation to manipulate her into coming here.
Which is interesting. I would not have thought that.
And it's true when you think it right down to it. And the whole that's not true. Anyway, I would never disrespect my brother. You know that. Like, that line just drips with emotion.
Except she doesn't know that.
I know she wouldn't.
She doesn't. You don't If you had an adopted brother, adopted sister that you met twice, and you said to them, I would never betray you, and you're like, I mean, well, hopefully you wouldn't. I've only met you 4 times. So that was another line. They're just like, don't watch season 2. Don't watch it. Just don't ignore it. We're season 3. Well, she loves her mum. She's known her mum for years. But that's a small detail. But it does stand out. I was like, oh, okay.
And this is where Burnham figures out kind of what's going on. So she goes, so as my Kuatmalat, I demand that you confirm the truth. And I love this, how it kind of gets turned around. Didn't the Federation give me a mission and a purpose? Yes. Didn't the Federation give me a place and a family? Yes. Didn't my crew and I risk our lives to work together in the past to save all sentient life in the universe? That is true. And isn't it also true that the only reason we are all sitting here today is because the Federation gave me and the crew of the USS Discovery the resources and the mandate to solve the biggest, most troublesome problems in the galaxy? Not so much true. You're looking into the burn.
From a certain point of view, with a biased opinion,
And then
And hold on, and is it also true that they didn't believe a single officer for the future was needed for our mission? That they thought we were the best officers because we didn't need any chaperones. Wait, yeah, that's true. What happened here? Why is there no one from?
this is nonsensical. Who's writing this shit?
Oh, I'm in the show too. Oh.
And then the last one. Didn't you see all of us, imperfect and flawed as we are, still up to its best, live up to its best ideals? Yes, I did.
Except Burnham, who lies, cheats, doesn't follow orders, and.
Yeah,
But that's the whole point of the scene, obviously.
So I may question and I may fear because the problems often seem insurmountable, but haven't we always risen to meet them? Yes. So why don't you believe me when I say that this is the greater good I'm fighting for, and that I have always been fighting for? And then her mom's like, well, why are you struggling with your decision to stay here then? It's like, oh, snap. I don't know.
I like the cut to Saru and his acting is so gentle. He's like, Nice.
Well, I don't understand her answer because she says, I don't know. Maybe because the stakes are so much higher now. Higher now compared to saving all sentient life in the universe for the foreseeable future. That is like the most important thing you could ever do. Now you're just trying to figure out what happened with the burn. Everybody's still fine. They've been 120 years on. They're still doing their thing. It's not. The next line she says makes more sense. Everything is different because now she's met Book, right?
Again, I don't think they watched season 2. Because the whole point of season 2 was this is the most important thing anyone has ever done ever in the history of everything ever. Ever. I mean, this should be a supercut of all sentient life in the universe. All sentient life, you know. Yeah, I mean, that line was a sore thumb of stupidity.
Yeah.
Because you've set the highest possible achievable target.
Yep.
Everything. For all time. Yeah, but I mean, again, one pathetic line that is tone deaf does completely misunderstood the entire point of the show.
Yeah. Well, then you get now she speaks truthfully, which I love. She finally got to the point, and that just showed everybody. Now you've got absolute candor. So.
And it's great. I really actually appreciated the way they play the mum here. Is like she doesn't know her daughter. She has known her daughter from her perspective and Time's perspective at least sort of 30 years. Like, she's moved on. Even in the previous episode where we saw her, she said, I've moved past you because I've got to think about everyone else. So she's fully committed to this. Like, she is not at all mum first, her sacred oath second. Like, she even says, my planet. Like, she's fully Volko, Romulo, human hybrid, which I really kind of appreciated. There was no conflict of interest here. But obviously she had to beat Burnham down for them to trust her and see, and then, well, I'm sure there's very few humans and they're quite mulat, so it's kind of like, oh, well, we know who she is anyway. But it was actually quite refreshing to have her be that honest for everybody. You don't often get that, like she really took it.
Well, I love how there was some discussion here as to whether they should give them the SB-19 data, and the Romulans like, Vulcans will choose whatever serves them best and insist it's only logical.
Which is?
If the Vulcans won't share the data, then the Romulans will. I'm like, yeah, that's Romulan through and through, bud. And everybody stands up and there's clamoring because it says clamoring on the screen.
Isn't standing up such an emotional thing to do? You're escalating situation by standing. What a thing.
Let's see if anybody gets this reference. Harumph, harumph, harumph.
Nope.
Somebody out there's got to get the harumph reference. I'll leave it for a minute and then I'll let you know.
But no, I liked that. And that is true. The Vulcans always say anything and say it's logical. That's how in Enterprise they justify doing the wrong thing. Oh, it's very logical. Like, yeah, to you when you've corrupted your own brain. And I am sad that they start to fracture. But again, you can understand. The Romulan guy says, this will help heal our entire planet and culture. Middle guy says, it's not worth the risk. We're doing it ourselves. Other one says, leave me out of it. I want all of the above, so I have no opinion. So I get it, and it's very abrupt though, and it's sad to see. But that does force Burnham, kind of like they did with the president, into a situation. She does something unusual. I was not expecting what was going to happen next.
Oh, one person got it right. There's been guesses for South Park and for Blazing Saddles, but Gregism, it's Frisky Dingo. Yes, absolutely, Frisky Dingo. Harumph, harumph, harumph.
What's that?
You know what Frisky Dingo is? Oh, I'll have to talk to you about it later. There's 2 seasons of it, and it's the precursor to Archer. Essentially, it's actually really good.
Canadian show?
No, I think it's American.
Hmm.
The main bad guy's name is Killface, and there's Awesome X, who has the Decepticles, which later become the Decepticles, and then they become the, I can't remember the other one now, the Xticles. Anyway, it's a great show. I suggest looking it up. We have both seasons on DVD upstairs. But Xander Cruz. Oh my God, Xander Cruz, you're Awesome X. Shut up, hooker. It's an awesome show. Anyway, SP847256, $2. Her mom is a Q. Q or a wormhole alien from DS9. Makes sense. But the clamoring has stopped now. Anyway, this is what my brother would have wanted. He revealed the connection between your cultures, and I implore you not to lose that. And then the Romulan's like, yeah, it's clearly more tenuous than we had realized. I thought that was kind of nice.
Yeah. And then yeah, she retracts the thing. I did not expect that to happen. I was quite pleased actually. It was an unusual twist, and it does she puts the needs of the many Vulcans over the needs of the few Starfleet, although it puts the needs of the few Vulcans above the needs of the galaxy. Works both ways. But I've got to imagine she's smart enough to know this is just a ploy. Like, I'm gonna try and trick him, because she's obviously too smart for most scenes. Because it feels like, oh, this is my last, like, because I mean, you know, it's their choice either way to give information, because they need it. But again, they don't necessarily know they need it. Like, need it. Like, as soon as she gave up, I was like, oh, okay, they're just gonna give it to her. Like, it's really obvious where it's gonna go.
Yeah.
But I like the impetus that, yeah, she does fail. I said earlier, she does not succeed. They have not created a decision. They've not gone with her. And the only thing she can do to sort of heal and show some form of leadership is to retract.
And say, I'm going to continue looking for the truth. Any information I find, I'll send your way. You can use it as you please. But I'm not going to push this. I'm not going to request it anymore. So
it's actually a good play. It's basically bluffing in like a.
It's reverse psychology.
Oh, that too.
Well, I don't want that thing anymore.
Yeah.
Are you going to give it to me now? Sweet.
And I said in our review, I'm sure the president got in a bit of political trouble for giving away information that clearly no consensus. Like, this was formed to make the decision. The decision was not made. She did it anyway. She's going to have some little bit of political backlash for that. But I appreciate the way it was played. I mean, a little bit, not like a ton or anything, just a little bit. But yeah, okay. And I like how all the Starfleet stand up for Burnham. It's a nice little moment. It's small, but nice.
And when she leaves, the look like her mom is so proud of her. That proud look on her face, because
you did it, baby girl. Is what she's probably thinking.
But then we get the quarters scene, and it's like, you could have picked a better time to do some parenting. Is this what you were like when you were 12 years old? Anyway, this is kind of a fun little scene between the two of them.
Although,
she goes,
note on the graphic, it's still the old Discovery.
Yeah, I noticed that. Yep.
Couldn't bother up with the graphics.
But she says, yeah, remember when I told you that there was more than one audience in that room? Well, the president found it. I told you there was another audience. The President Tarina saw you when you let her see you. She decided that trusting you was worth the risk and handed the disc. It's nice. It's a nice scene.
And Rebel Poet says, the Romulan dude looks like Nero. Same actor? No, not remotely. No. You'd recognize him. He's actually
Brandon, or what's his name? God damn it.
He's the actor in so many things, but never quite got truly successful. He's that guy from that thing. He was Daredevil once.
Yes. Anyway.
Wasn't very good as Nero, so why would you remember? I mean, he wasn't very good in the role. But guys, 426 people still watching, which is fantastic, with 350 likes. I want to see 50 more, and I want to see another $50 in Super Chats. That would be absolutely incredible. As we're starting to get near the end, I want to start Eric Banner. There you go, guys. Well done. Well done.
Yes, thank you. And 420 viewers. That's good number.
50 more Super Chat dollars. There's 5. And 45 more likes as we close out. Yeah.
Well, we're doing a wrap up, and then we'll do our scoring. But we've got to finish the episode first. Yes. There's a few more things. Joshua Clark, though, throws in $5.
Thank you.
Was it just me, or did the motif on the gong remind anyone of the priestly garb on the priestess in Star Trek 4? Absolutely it did. It's supposed to invoke that kind of patterning. But yes. And then the whole end of this conversation, like, I can finally say something I wanted to say for a very long time. You always know where to find me. Because now, no matter what, I'll be on Tavar. You can always come and talk to me. We can have mommy-daughter dates, things like that. We can go get our hair did.
Because, I mean, as a co-op a lot, I'm not that busy.
And the whole, you're not a lost cause anymore, so I can't be bound to you anyway. So I got to stay here. Yeah.
It's actually good. I mean, for what it is, again, she doesn't make sense in the timeline. Once you skip that, as often you do in Discovery, just skip things. Like, how did Klingons get cloaking devices in Discovery Season 1? It's Season 3 now. Don't think about it, But I like, again, it's a good little moment. It's a good little scene. She's good in it. And having, again, rewatched it, where she said, I watched you die hundreds of times.
Yeah.
To finally be stable in a timeline where A, the future isn't destroyed, and B, she somehow... But it would have been nice, though, if she'd said, I never for one second thought you would catch me here. Because it's just like, oh yeah, she plays as if, oh hey, welcome back. Yeah. But why would she have gone into the mega future? And she clearly hasn't aged very much, so what a coincidence. She happens to come only a few years out, you know what I mean? It's very bizarre. So I wish there was more, but you'd have to watch Season 2. I get the sense they don't need you. They want to distance themselves from Season 2. It's a fresh start again. It feels like a fresh start sort of scene, but it's nice if you just ignore Season 1 and 2. Yeah.
Metallica fan 1442 puts in £5.
Thank you.
Thanks for the live chat. Well, thank you for joining us for the live chat. They wouldn't be live chats if you guys weren't here. Very true. Thank you. You guys make us go.
And you would think, there would be a scene where, you know how Michael didn't have a mum for 20 years and saw her for one day in a trial situation where she barely, knew her? Maybe she could ask for some leave from the Quat Mulat just to hang out. Because, you only found out she was alive last year and you only saw her for 24 hours and you spend, 4 hours with her. Have her, come on, take leave. Come with you for a bit. Come on. Really? You're not going to try and catch up? Or, I mean, this is your mother. I guess you haven't seen her since you were 7, so I mean, you don't, maybe she doesn't like her that much anymore. Because, I mean, obviously Amanda is a mum, 7 was quite a young age. She was adopted for almost her entire life. More of a life without this mum. So she really is, not the mum she knows, So I guess that makes sense, but it is weird that, not that I want her in more of the series, put her, as a regular or anything, she doesn't make sense. But they tried a moment of saying, I've got some leave coming up. How long can you stay on Vulcan? Oh, a day. Oops. Yeah. Anyway. Yeah.
Anyway, yes.
Good.
This is the whole say yes scene, which I think is ridiculous. Because Detmer would be like, fuck you, bitch. I want that role. Because Detmer's a bitch.
Well, no, she doesn't want to be a fly pilot, but she's too happy. She's PTSD'd it. She's genuinely lovely smile, lovely face. And yet the psychos don't get more than one line. Give Bryce and Thingy some lines here. Come on. And why?
Reese got a line. He said, here's my demands. I wanted more vacation time on Hawaii.
That would have been funny. But it's why do they all come down from the bridge? Why is no one on the bridge right now? This is the entire bridge crew. No one's piloting the ship right now.
No, the B squad or the C squads. It's C squad shift. There's always a B and C squad. You can't have eight guys on the bridge.
There's only 75 people on the ship. So
I know.
What do the B squad do when they're not A
squadding? Gene is in the captain's chair right now with a shovel.
Like a
He's
trident.
Just pointing at things. Make that go. Send a message. You over there. Tell me what are the shields at? Oh, they're down.
Raise shields.
I just want to feel important. Yeah, raise shields. Look, there's something incoming.
Yeah. It's not a good scene. I mean, it is for Discovery. It's bad for us. As an audience, it doesn't work particularly well. I'm not going to bother talking about it. It's not very good.
Aziz Galani to join the channel at the rank of Commander. So welcome, Commander. Good to see you.
Welcome.
But yeah, the couple of complaints and stuff are funny. And then Burnham comes in and said, did I miss the yes thing? And she's like, it was awkward. I wanted to make sure you were fine with it before, just whatever. So there you go.
It's kind of cute. I prefer Burnham in this scene. Again, she's just better overall, but she's nice there.
But then we find out that they share the quarters still. For frick's sakes, makes no sense. because we had kind of determined, and the way they filmed it was very. You weren't sure whether they shouldn't be sharing quarters. It's not a full crew complement at the moment. Plus, she's now first officer bunking with an ensign. Just dumb. Anyway, that's okay. We move past that. It's fine.
Yep. The thing is, the weak scenes in this episode are weak. The good scenes are great. It's very much dichotomy. It's weird.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it, actually. But then you're going to find out what caused the burn, Michael. No, we all are. Yay.
And I'm glad for that. Because it's just like, you're going to be the main character still. Be the one that saves the universe for a second time in 2 years. No, we all will save the universe. Yeah, but you're going to be the main character. Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Then the Saru and President scene was really nice. Like, we want to continue this dialogue. I know it's a big ask for you guys to come to the Federation again, but, you know, if we can just continue our conversation. She's like, I'd really like that.
Stuart.
And then double taps out.
Was there a bit of flirting there? Like, gentle, intelligent? Am I sensing that? Because I was quite okay.
I never got that vibe, but yes, looking back on it, I could say absolutely yes.
It's hard to flirt in this situation, but I was like, there's a little bit of weird chemistry here.
You know what I've heard about Kelpians? That's what she's thinking.
Yeah, weirdly good chemistry, and they gave a lot of time to this actress. Like, so
Yes.
she's obviously going to come back. But we have talked about, I don't remember what video actually, about the end of the season or season 4 being a round table UN style, and she'll presumably she'll be in that episode, etc.
I think so.
Yeah, but no, good scene, good
And
way end.
It closed out with the Booker and her, like, you're not leaving. Yeah. No, but you feel like home. So do you.
I like it.
And then the pan out from the shuttle bay with the open shuttle bay door.
Yeah. No, I like it. It's actually a nice end. I was kind of waiting for him to spore out at the end.
Yeah.
But I was fine with not doing it. And it was fun. The camera stays still, but the ship moves.
And that scene, like, with the nebula in the background and stuff, it's almost like the last episode of a series, like series finale shot. Like,
oh boy, don't feel like Vulcan. I'll be honest.
Oh no, it doesn't. That's the thing. I think they might have been terraformed a little bit to accommodate the Romulans as well, because they weren't used to the arid desert planet, because theirs was quite lush. So interesting. But it is Vulcan. It's not the Kelvin universe. Vulcan wasn't destroyed. I just want to point that out. Anywho, that's it, guys. So time for you guys to super chat your scores out of 10. Let us know your final thoughts via super chat as well if you can. I will read those out when we're done giving out ours. Samuel will read all the non-super chat scores, which will be in the regular chat. So put them in there and what you thought of this out of 10. And any last thoughts or anything you guys have, if you want to super chat them and get that last super chat slot, which everybody fights for no reason, because we don't have a prize for it, but just acknowledgement that it's the last super chat. Please consider doing so. We'd really appreciate it. It helps us out. So $20 more is really all we would request. If you got anything more above that, that's awesome. But and make sure you hit the like, guys, just so we can get 400. Can we get 400 likes? We're at 374 with 418 people. I think we can do it. And
if you missed anything, any story beats, any things, we would absolutely love to hear. If there's anything wrong that you think, we'd love to hear. This is a really good way of having this discussion, because we're not in an echo chamber, but we only have so many thoughts between us. So anything you guys think. I absolutely love seeing these discussion points. And 407 people, that is amazing. We are so grateful to have you guys join us on these lives. We like to think this is a fun conversation. Balanced, hopefully you guys all agree, balanced. We both quite the bad, quite the good. The fact that I think we were both more in the medium is good. Also, you a bit more negative, but I mean, in a percentage wise than me, I was a bit more positive, but a nice balance there. If you want a nice, fair assessment of the show with a lot of canon knowledge, this is the place to be. Obviously, you guys are tuning in week after week. Only 6 more. Bit sad with that. I definitely want to have a discussion with you, Stuart, probably as a live as well, about 7 or 8 episodes in. Let's compare Discovery and Picard, because who thought Discovery might win out that battle? Ooh.
I didn't
either.
All right, guys. So in my summation, this is an episode that stands up.
I get the score sheet.
Yes, stands on its feet so good in certain areas. Some really good dialogue, good exposition, well done exposition. Doesn't feel like it's just exposition for the sake of exposition.
But you called it earlier. It's just the exposition of the episode. It doesn't feel
absolutely.
it. It doesn't. It's weird.
Exposition the episode. That's funny. Yeah, so that's great. Some good casting, some good acting for sure. Seeing the mom back, even though it's nonsensical in the scope of what the universe and the galaxy should be telling us, it is good to see the actress back. She actually was really good as a Quat Malat. I like that little twist. The whole, but then that being said, all the good stuff, there's also the bad stuff that breaks it apart, like the Tilly thing. As much as I love the character of Tilly, and yes, her and Saru have a great, trust and dialogue between each other, it just doesn't quite make a lot of sense for her to be an XO. As a temporary thing, I think it's fine the way they kind of glaze that over and have her be unsure and have to ask Stamets. I think that was actually kind of fun. And then for the rest of the crew to tell her to say yes. Which I think will really help with her confidence and her character. If her character, as a result of this, grows into somebody a little bit more confident and a little bit more Starfleet-like, I think that would be a fantastic way to do that. And hopefully they follow through with that. Admiral Vance was also very good in this episode. Really love the scenes with him in them all the time. He's a great actor and a fun character. And yeah, there was, as much as this was a bottle show and I would have liked to have seen the surface of a Romulan Vulcan blended planet, that would have been very interesting to see. Unfortunately, we didn't get that, but it was more focused on that dialogue, and I think that was very well delivered while being very dense dialogue-wise in the middle. A lot was revealed, and it was revealed in a natural manner that didn't feel forced. So for all these reasons, my score is going to have to be a 7 out of 10. Originally, I thought it was going to be higher after my first watching. But for some reason, there's an unease when I'm done this episode that it's not the best episode, even though it still feels Star Trek. And to see Leonard Nimoy and stuff, you think there's those ties to the other Trek. We get the mention of Admiral Picard, the Quat Malat, seeing Leonard Nimoy, so there's ties to TNG, Unifications 1 and 2, obviously.
And well done.
Yes.
Because they can do stupid integration, and that was actually well done.
Yeah, and it's a nice continuation of that. Like, you watch those first two now, and you go, eventually they'll get back together because of this. That's awesome. So, for all those reasons, my 7 out of 10 will stand.
And just to jump off that point briefly, the unification thing, this wasn't a sequel in the conventional sense. I loved that. If Unification Part 1 was that crumble base, or was that, the pie base, and Unification Part 2 was a little bit of fruit in it, right? This was, it's fully finished, here's a lovely little cherry on top. And we skipped all the hard shit. Oh good, it did. Now we can just enjoy it. Now we can just enjoy it.
Well,
you know?
I'd say yes, except there was been a piece cut out of that, and they're giving you this piece after it's sat on the counter for 3 days, and it's got a little bit of a hard crust. So it's not perfect.
But it's still satisfying.
You scrape off the Tilia's XO stuff. And
I just meant for the Vulcan show. I just meant as
the
direct sequel to the 3-parter.
Okay, then I'll agree with you. Yes.
Because it wasn't actually, because it long since finished, so yeah. It wasn't like, oh look, here's the thing. So I thought that was quite good.
So what about you?
I would love to know where I put my review scores, because I want to go back and see what we reviewed the other seasons, and I must have wrote them down as we were going, but I can't find the Word document, which is a little bit weird. So yeah, for me, like I say, this is it's not one of the best, but the bar is so much higher this season that not one of the best is still good.
Yes, absolutely.
And I'm gonna give him credit that the Tilly thing has a reason, because we called out Burnham being a stupid XO as well, and it did have a reason, and then she went away, and it was satisfying she went away. I think we're gonna get something like that with the Tilly. I think it's gonna backfire, but in a specific, important way. La la la. Vance is great, as you said. The Vulcans are great casting. I don't mind it was cheap. I bet the budget on this episode is the lowest of the season by a substantial amount, and I'd be interested to know how much that was, because there's also very little visual effects, but it doesn't feel like that waste, because it's dealing with, anything that deals with canon in a good way. I like seeing exploration of the universe, and as I often have said, some of the best TNG is 2 people in a room talking. So yeah, it's good, but the bad is dumb, but we'll absolutely see. And I just appreciate the writing quality, because it all goes down to the writing quality. Burnham is a better character now, hands down, and I think one way of the show feels more mature now, as if the children and the teens who are writing Discovery have left, and you've now got some adults writing who can write a coherent story, and it makes such a difference. So for me, I'm not gonna look at my other scores because I haven't even thought about my number. 7, I think, for you is totally fair. I would only go as far, I think, as 7.5. I think that's fair. It's pretty good. I think losing a quarter for the bad stuff's fair. I think that's okay. Do I like it more than the first episode? Wow, I guess I do. Huh. But we had less to compare against. Okay, 7.5. So yeah, basically the same as you. Not much more though, but a little bit. Cool. So what do you guys think then? Stuart, you can do the super chats. I will do non-super chats. We need 7 more likes and $13 more, and that is it, guys. That is it.
I missed that. We need what?
We need 7 more likes and 13 more super chat dollars. That's it, guys. Then we're done.
Awesome. All right. So Zachary Tyson throws in $5.
Thank you.
Was I the only one getting romantic? Oh, wait a minute. Did I read that one? No, I didn't read that one. Romantic vibes between Saru and the Navarre president. If not, Saru is just a smooth operator. I didn't get the vibes, but I'm kind of clueless like that sometimes. But a lot of people have said that, so yes, I think you're fine. Good tea, nice house, $5. Okay, do you guys find the dialogue between the bridge crew to be bad, or is it just that the acting is very poor? I'm on the fence with these actors. They're not giving anything to work with. That's the problem. So I don't think it's the actors or bad dialogue necessarily, just lack of dialogue, lack of interaction with each other. Because when they do speak, like in this last scene with Say Yes for Tilly, I think it was actually very... Like, she's so excited. Same with Detmer. Like there's a lot of emotion. There's a lot of good vibes coming from these people if they're given lines, to actually work with.
Well, it's the same as the Harry Kim syndrome. If you only give him Captain, ship incoming, you can still say him well, but they're not characters. Try describe.
I disagree. I think Harry Kim was a great character.
Oh no! But he had 7 seasons. Like he was given stuff. I mean, I just mean as a syndrome of only given dialogue of the episode, and he was given more of it.
Yeah.
I describe Bryce without saying helm officer or his skin color.
Well, he's communications.
Oh, there you go. I got it wrong. So describe his character.
Very friendly. I assume. I'm talking about the actor because we met him in Vegas and he watches Trekyards, so I like the guy.
Yep. You couldn't give any traits about them. Not one, apart from good officers. That's it.
Yeah, you can tell there's stations on the bridge, and one's black guy, the other one's an Asian.
That's it. Yeah.
Yep. And that's sad. That's very sad.
And they both went to the academy because they were.
And even with Sulu and TOS in the first season, he was a botanist, then he was something else, then he was a sword fighter or swordsman. Like they tried to give him things, Anyway.
Yeah.
Let's see. Area 50. Oh no, wait a minute. Joshua Clark, $5. Great point at Brent C. Saru is a primal Kelpian. Ooh, she would be like this is better than a Vulcan during Ponfar. 7 out of 10. Well, yeah. Ponfar might be gone now, by the way. Because Romulans, they didn't have that because they gave into their emotions. They give into the lust. They loved that. So maybe they brought some of that back. Maybe Ponfar for a true Vulcan now is only like 3 years instead of 7. Who knows? Just want to point that out. Area 51, $2. Last super chat. Very good. Tenchi 2K7, $5. I give it a 6.5 out of 10 for Discovery. Good scenes with the Navarrians.
Yeah.
God damn, that's what we've been called now. But the silly Tilly #1 stuff brings it down a bit.
Although to be clear though, the guy calls them Romulans still.
Oh yes.
So they're still Vulcans and Romulans. They just live on Navarro. Whatever. Not called.
Navarro.
Navarre. So just to be clear, they're not
Tovar.
No, it's an N. It's not T.
No, it's a T.
No, you wrote it down wrong. That's why I had to take it out of the edit earlier, because you say it wrong when it's an N on the screen.
It's T in some of the subtitles.
Well, on the screen it's an N. Because I was editing, I was like, oh no. How can I keep that in? Let's get back.
Oh, well.
Yeah, N.
Okay, well.
So they call it a T in the subtitles?
Yeah, let me see. I'll see if I can
Ooh.
send one to you.
That's funny. Huh.
Unless my dyslexia is playing tricks on me. I will go back and look.
Yeah.
Navarre there. I thought I saw a T. Anyway.
Yeah.
Sorry, my bad.
Yeah. But I'm just saying, it's still Vulcans and Romulans live on Navarre.
Yes. Paul Graham, $5. Just here for the support and to say screw Crave for not having it on yet. Yeah, Crave for some reason is putting it on tomorrow. Lower Decks was always the Thursday. For some reason, they're putting Discovery on the Friday, which is weird.
Normal scores now?
There's 2 more
Okay.
super chats anyway.
Excellent.
More scores, though, I don't think. Species 8470, $5. Do you think unification would still happen if Romulus was not destroyed? Yes, but probably not as soon as it did. I'm not sure exactly when it did because they don't really tell us. But that's an interesting point. I think the Romulans being lost and kind of wandering would be a good reason for them to go back to Vulcan. But as a necessity, I don't like that because it's like we have no other choice. We're here with our hat in our hand saying, please help us.
And the problem is, if that's the case, then that would happen right after Picard or before Picard, because they would have made a new planet, as in settled it and made a new colony. If there's 100 years, I assume after the Hobus, they sent out feelers to start the relationship growing, but they'd have had their own home planet after Romulus for hundreds of years before. So I think it actually would have been better if they hadn't have lost Romulus, because they would have done it on their own merit. It's like two people living together. It can get really tense, but if you have your own apartment and you're only 5 minutes away, you can be more friendly. You know, you don't have to live with a person. I think it would happen eventually, though, just because there's it's like when you're bored, when the galaxy is still mundane, you want to, there's stuff to do, let's be friends, etc. And as political winds change.
One more super chat.
Awesome.
Fun will now commence. $5. You got the last super chat slot, my friends,
Ooh.
for now. But he says 6 out of 10. This episode was very Trek. However, it was peppered with recurring issues that have affected the Discovery series from the beginning. Yes, but in season 3, they've ironed out a lot of those, and it's very evident. Yeah. So
it's weird. I think we actually scored this better than most people in the chat did, or a lot of people, which is normally the case. We do a bit lower. That's weird. Huh. And we didn't obviously know the scores yet before we gave our scores, so that's kind of our own gut reaction. But we have some scores then, as I burn through them. So 6, 6, 7, 6, 5, 7.5, 7, 8.5, 10, says Alex. Wow. The best episode of Discovery, I guess, for you. 5, 8, 6, 2. There you go. Bounce out the 10 and the 2. 7, 6.5, 6, 3, 9, 6, 7, 8. 7.5, 4, 9, 6.9 recurring, 6, 8, 8.5, 8.5, 7.5 out of 6. So it's better than perfect, says Chris Gwillam. You, sir, cannot do math or Star Trek very well, apparently. 6.
That's mean.
Well, he gave it 7.5 out of 6. So, hey, he threw himself under the bus there. 6, 6, 9. 6, 9... 7, 10, 5, 7 in capital letters. 7, 9. Joseph says 9. Favorite episode of Discovery so far. Things we like the ship and tech stuff, so obviously this wouldn't be it because no ship and tech stuff really.
Yeah, last week's was good.
Yeah. Devereaux, a sequel over 35 years and 9 centuries in the making. Although there's actually like 5, 7 centuries because it's 2400.
And a few series. You got Enterprise in there. You got Picard, Lower Decks.
It's either 6 centuries if you're going by Picard to this, or like 30 centuries if you're going by them leaving Vulcan, etc. 6, 6, 9, 6, 4.5. 6. Again, Chris said the same thing. Chris, you're still under the bus yourself. 7, 5. So yeah, pretty varied, but we're actually kind of high this week. Oh.
And I'm looking, I don't see with the T. I must have been, I don't know where I got that from. I have it written down as that, and I don't know why. Anyway.
That's why I had to edit out the other original. That's why I had to edit out earlier, because you said it wrong, and it's like, but it's on the screen. I can't edit it out. It doesn't work.
That's okay. Just have me sound like an idiot. It's fine.
No, you're the captain. That's my job as second in command. To make you sound smart.
Oh my God.
I know.
Good T, nice house. $2 says I win, but you don't because Joshua Clark throws in $5 and says a 10.5 out of 6. That must be some quantum math.
Yes.
Yeah. Absolutely.
All right. So final words, Stuart, and then, like I say, if anyone wants to snipe it in, we're just going to close out. But thanks everyone for joining us for another week's epic discovery. You guys have come on in, 400 people, great super chats, always appreciated, amazing. And you'll see some edited videos over us for the weekend and some more lives next week. Stuart, closing thoughts?
We're more than halfway to the end, and hopefully they don't snowball the end of the season to wrap up the burn thing quicker than they need to. This could be a 2-season arc, and I'd be happy.
I want that.
Yeah.
I want that so bad.
Yeah, so hopefully they don't ruin it by like driving it into the ground at full speed. They've done a good build up for season 3. Just keep it going, keep that Star Trek vibe going, and hopefully it'll be better.
But I do think even if the payoff is garbage, this setup is worth it. Like this
setup has been good. Yeah.
Like this 4, once they got to Starfleet Command, these 4 have been solid as a block. Solid. Nothing can take that away from them. You know. So yeah. I'm absolutely fine with that.
Yeah. Good T, nice house. $2. No, he doesn't. I win. So there you go.
I mean,
but
it's not up to us. But I appreciate, going straight in. I like it.
Anyway, guys, we'll call that quits for today. And naysayer or naysay never puts in £2. Burnham is happier because she's getting laid. Well, yeah, a year of that,
No, not a year of that. They only did it this episode for the first time.
Well, I doubt that very much.
No.
Very much.
No. And Sleepy Trekyards is a 7.5, so mirrors mine as well. Yeah. And how happy are you, as Mr. Jericho says, no mention of the song again?
Yeah, but I think that's going to be rushed. It's like all of a sudden, like, oh, there's that song. We have to remember. We remember we said that thing. Okay, how are we going to fix this? And it's going to be like, oh shit, don't do it. Don't do it. That's what I see happening.
Although, if next time on proves true, the song will not have any part in finding it, which is interesting. So it's a separate thing. Which actually,
I can't wait for that prediction video because there's some cool stuff in there. So
there is. So there's your tease, guys.
That'll be Wednesday.
And they say,
but in the meantime, we have daily videos, and we'll have Mandalorian Monday. We'll have the Sunday first reaction to the Mandalorian from me, and then lives next week. So just join us. Make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you've hit like, and we'll see you soon, guys. Thank you so much.
And put in 2 more likes. You can do it.
Can we get 2 more likes?
That's it.
2 of you haven't hit like.
1, 2. I'm gonna hover over the end button while we get 2 likes.
I'm hovering over the end button. Oh, there we go. We get it. Bye, guys.